Hello, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 52. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, happy birthday!
Yeah, happy birthday, man. We made it. And I didn't think we were going to make it because of the Chinese Wuhan flu, but we said, screw you, flu. We're going to continue on, and it's been good.
Screw the flu.
Screw
The
the
Kung
flu.
flu.
Yeah, screw the Kung flu, for sure.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, we made it against all odds. We started out as 4, then we went to 3, and people said they'll never make it. And then we went to 2, and people said, oh, for sure they're not going to make it now. And then here we are. We've been on 2 for over half of our time in existence now, and our resolve is as strong as it ever been. Or at least mine is.
Yeah, I agree. Mine too. And the VR space is just getting crazy, right? The games are getting better. The hardware is just increasing. I don't even know what I would do if I wasn't talking about VR. So much crap coming out. So
Yeah, it's so much easier to do a show now than it was when we started. Back then, it was hard enough that we were trying to teach ourselves how to be podcasters and how to be comfortable in front of the camera and how to interact with people online. But the VR space in particular was was a different world back then. I mean, think back a year, like when we first started doing this show. It's a whole different world now than it was a year ago. Not only in VR, but just the whole world. Everything's different now.
yeah, everything's turned upside down, topsy turvy world. But what's funny is I was on a different headset. I was, all the games were tech demos for the most part. You had your Mosses and different games here or there, but none of them were the level that we're at now. Like with Alex and Saints and Sinners and so forth. It's just been an amazing year.
Yeah, back then, man, Saints and Sinners was just the Walking Dead game that Skydance Interactive was working on, but most people don't know that Skydance is working on a Walking Dead game. And yeah, we were all on Gen 1 headsets, and now today we're all on our Gen 2 headsets, and we're looking forward even to the next generation of headsets. Back then, when we started, Half-Life VR was a meme, Roots. It was a joke.
Yeah, and everybody talked about it and wished about it. And even when they started to rumor about it, people were like, it's not coming, because they were so conditioned for so long that it was just not going to happen. And wow, Valve really showed us, didn't they?
Well, I mean, the gaming industry has shown us. I mean, Oculus has shown us with what they've done to make VR hardware accessible and affordable for the masses, and at the same time bringing us these tremendous exclusives to PCVR, like Asgard's Wrath, your Stormlands, and I mean, I could go on for 10 minutes about Oculus exclusives. But then we have Valve, and when Oculus vacated the enthusiast portion of the VR landscape, Valve slides right in and not only brings us our highest end consumer hardware yet, but also brings us the holy grail of VR games, Half-Life Alyx. It's been literally a tremendous first year, man, and I can only imagine where we're going to go from here.
Yeah, think about the games we'll be playing a year from now. And it'll be like, it'll just be insane. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, doesn't it seem like it's been like 3 years that we've been doing this?
It does.
Not because it just seems like, none of us, I'm not saying that it seems like forever, but when you think about the VR landscape and just life in general and the world in general and how different it is now compared to then, we've seemed like we've had 2 or 3 different eras since then, right?
Squeezed into one. Yeah, it's been really crazy, actually. But hopefully things will settle down a little bit and let me catch my breath. But the good news is we have an amazing episode coming up. And I heard rumors that we're giving away some keys.
You heard right, sir, because it's a celebration. It's a celebration of the year that was. It's a celebration even more so of the years that are to come. So let's start off by doing just that. Let's give away a game. Roots, let's give away Superhot, brother. I told some people on Reddit this week that we were going to be giving away Superhot and a bunch of other games, which we are. But I wanted to start with Superhot because this game is still one of the best in VR. It's toward the top of the sales list even today. And really, my intention is here is to get a copy of Superhot in everyone's hands, so that finally people will stop buying it, and they'll have to make a sequel.
Yeah, that's the conundrum, right? It's done so well that people just keep buying it. They won't make another one. It's funny because I just I was telling you before we started the show, I have a customer that I just did a stop the other day for, and I was asking him what his go-to game for PlayStation VR was, and he said Superhot, and I was not surprised because this game is just that good, and I still like to go into it. And I was kind of shocked actually, because I thought I was going to blow him away with this like secret knowledge. I was like, hey, did you know that you can throw your guns into the other room? And I was like, yeah, man, I know that shit. And I guess I'm not the only one that knows that secret, Wes.
Well, we got to work harder if we want to stay on top of our game roots. We can't come off as just being normal gamers. We're the ones they look to.
Yeah.
The beacon in the dark when they're lost.
Yeah, that's right.
We're where they come to find the answers, right?
Yep, that's right.
All right. So, how are we going to do this? All right. So here's what we're going to do. We've got a handful of games to give away. We're not going all out like we did for the 2019 show. We're not giving like 50 games away today. That's not going to happen, but we're going to give away about 10 or so keys today, and we're going to give away another 6 or 7 tomorrow, okay? And the way we're going to do it is we're going to give some away to the chat, and we're going to give some away in the comments for those who couldn't make it live. So the way we're going to do it is when we give away a key in the chat, I will ask a trivia question on the video here. The first one to answer it in chat is the winner. Simple enough. We've done it before. The way we're going to do it with the comments section is I will just announce this is the game we're giving away in the comments section. If you would like to enter, just put a comment below saying, I would like to enter for so-and-so, whichever key it is we're giving away. And we'll do a drawing, a numerical drawing like we did not too long ago. And we will notify those winners via the comments. Now, no matter which way you're playing, or both, as always, you can only win one. So if you get a key, you're the winner. Congratulations. Quit playing. You're not getting another one. So yeah. And if you don't win today, what can they do, Roots?
Well, then they can tune in tomorrow for a Monday show, right? And they can have a chance to pretty much mostly every game that we have given away today, although there's a little bit of differences, will be given away tomorrow. So,
absolutely. So if you did not win the game today, all you got to do is tune into the Monday show tomorrow. Now, the games that we give away for the Monday show are going to be all live, all in the chat. So if you haven't done so already, be sure that you subscribe. Be sure you click the notification bell so you get that notification and you know when we're going live for the Monday show 32 tomorrow. And for those of you saying, yeah, but YouTube doesn't always send the notification. Listen, it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Okay? Do the math for your specific time zone. That's when it's going to go on. But it's a special edition, Roots. We're not just giving away keys in the chat, but this is an episode that we've already recorded, we've already finished, and we had our first ever guest on the Monday show, and that was Anthony from VR365. I really had a good time shooting that episode with Anthony. What about you?
It was a really good conversation. Actually, it was really enjoyable. Yeah, I love me some Anthony, and getting to do Because I Said So with him was my favorite part of it. So yeah, it's a very good episode. You don't want to miss it, especially if you don't have the games that we're giving away. So now, one thing I will say that's good about this time compared to last time as far as the giveaways. There's no, these are all going to be Steam keys, right? I don't think we have any other that aren't Steam. Or maybe one.
These are not all Steam keys.
Okay, so but they're definitely not PlayStation VR.
We have one PlayStation VR.
Well, so my biggest thing is like last time, if it's the PlayStation VR, just please tell us what platform. Tell us as much information.
Well, no. I will tell them because I only have one PlayStation VR key, and it's for North America.
Okay.
So PSVR NA. If you're an EU PSVR player, and that's all you have, sorry, bro.
Yeah, well, the biggest, I guess my point is there's 2 keys we're giving away today that people didn't claim last time. We had tons of people that just said, yeah, I want this game. And then they didn't follow up. And so whatever information we've asked of you, which I guess is not much this time, just be as specific as you can. I just don't want anybody to miss out on a game because they didn't answer right or didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's actually a good point because the game that everything we have is Steam VR. I have one Quest key and one PSVR key. Those are both for Freediver, Triton Down, extended cut. So the way I'm going to give that away is I'm going to give that game away, and whoever wins it today is going to get a pick, PSVR or Quest. Whichever one I have left, I'll give away tomorrow during the Monday show. So what you're saying is very important. They need to, of course, let me know which platform they want it on. But we'll probably do that one in the live chat, so we'll be able to resolve that one really quickly. So Superhot VR. We need to come up with a trivia question. Roots, I've got it. All right. For a Steam VR copy of Superhot VR, the first person in the live chat to answer this question will win. As we all know, Virtual Strangers was born out of the community built around the VR 365 channel. As we mentioned, tomorrow, the host of such channel, Anthony, is going to be on the Monday show with this. But before VR 365 was VR 365, it was called something else. Name that channel that went on to become VR 365. The first person who does so wins a copy of Steam VR wins a copy of Superhot VR for Steam.
Yeah, what a good question.
Yeah, well, we're going to be winging it. I don't have any questions written down here, Roots. I'm just going to be winging it. I just doing my best to keep people from snatching up keys. People are pretty quick. Some people even speculate that there are bots that pull these keys out of the chat super fast. And people just generally don't like it when you drop keys in the chat. So this is our solution to that. We're just going to ask questions.
I'll tell you what, Wes. I don't use a bot, but I'll have my window open and I'll copy and paste it real quick. And I'll tell you what, I've gotten 98% of the keys I've done that way. And usually people are like, oh man, that went fast. And I'm like, what were you doing, dude? So yeah, I agree. It's a good idea not to just drop keys in the chat. Because then you've got like I would be in a stream and I'd get like 4 games. Is that fair? No. Did I do it? Yes. No.
Well, here's the thing. Even if it is fair, just the fact that some people might think that it's not, let's put their mind at rest and let them know that they have to be switched on if they want to win here today. You can't just copy and paste and have a quick draw. Because I'm like you, yeah, I've won a bunch of keys that same way, just copying and pasting out of the chat. But people are skeptical, so let's put their minds at rest.
Yeah,
it's a celebration, Roots.
Yeah, big celebration. Yeah. For sure.
All right, so that's enough talking about our birthday. Plenty more of that talk to come. We're going to talk a little bit about the future of the channel before we end here today. And for those of you who have followed us since day one, stay tuned to the end of the show because we have a surprise lined up. And If you're new to the channel, the surprise probably won't mean all that much to you. But if you're not new to the channel and you've been with us this whole time, you're going to dig how we end the show. So stay tuned and watch to the very end.
Yeah, I was going to tell you too, what you were saying about that, the notifications, and I had mentioned it a while ago because I had seen it on a different YouTube channel, and they're constantly talking about it every video. They've added an extra step. You have to click all. You go into click the bell, and then you click all notifications, and then you will get all the notifications. Otherwise, YouTube just messes with you. So
there's another pro tip from Roots. It's not just enough to click the bell. You have to designate that you want all notifications.
Yeah, and then you won't have an excuse. Radio Runt and Scion that keep missing our shows. You two specifically, two of our biggest fans, are always running into where they're not able to see the show, and then they find out like bummed out afterwards, like, oh man, like, so yeah, there you go. There's your tip.
Well, in their defense, we don't always go on time. If we would just show up on time, they would probably know exactly when it is. Now, with that said, we've been pretty damn good about getting out on time lately, haven't we?
Yeah. So much so that this video and on Monday, especially Mondays, because it's like you said, it's already filmed. It will definitely be up with advance notice. Sounds good.
Yeah. 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday is the targeted release time for Virtual Strangers. And then the Monday show comes the following evening, the next day evening, Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Monday show.
Yep.
All right, enough channel stuff, dude. Let's talk VR. And Half-Life Alex has dominated the headlines for about 2 solid weeks now. And, I've always kind of wondered, or I've kind of wondered this whole time, how anyone's going to be able to get any attention whatsoever. But Boneworks is trying, Roots. They're trying. Because we found out just a few days ago that next week, April 9th, Boneworks Update 1.4 is coming. It will bring 3 new maps to the game's sandbox mode, a new weapon, the P350 handgun, and changes to the game's hand physics.
I wonder what...
This is according to creator Brandon Latch, who teased the update this week via Twitter. Roots, hand physics. Interesting, yes?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was wondering if they are taking it, after Alex came out and everybody was saying how much better it was. Maybe they're getting rid of the arms, or I don't know, man. It makes me curious to see what they're doing, because it's a lot of jank in those hands, Wes, and I'd love to see that jank disappear, and then I could maybe jump on the love boat from like Anthony for this game. Although I like it, I don't love it.
Yeah, I really like this game. Despite all of its obvious jank, and there is a lot of it, there's a lot that this game does that you can't get anywhere else. It's very unique, and it's very, very immersive, and they continue to improve it. Now, here's the thing about it, though. They seem to be doing what the players are asking them to do. Sometimes begrudgingly, though, or at least it would seem. So, do you think this is going to be one of those cases where they think their game is perfect, but everyone in the world tells them that the hand physics are janky as shit? So they're like, fine, we'll fix the hand physics. And they're going to do it in some smart ass way to make it so maybe the hands are flipping us off, or, do you foresee some kind of smart ass stuff coming from them like that, like we got with the checkpoint update?
I wouldn't be surprised, for sure, just because these developers, as good as they are, they seem to be very confident in themselves, almost to a fault. I don't know. Everybody you know, not everybody, but a lot of people chuckled. They thought it was cute. They thought it was funny. You know, all the, you know, what if this is a tech demo type of thing? And I still submit that it kind of is a tech demo. Really good one. It's amazing. Without a story, I just, or a real story, I just don't, I don't feel like the approach that they took with with the saves, and like you said, that guy's face with the, on that thing. And, you know, they clearly are almost mocking a portion of their audience or their people that have bought their game. And as one of those people, part of me wants to take offense, but I'm not going to, because I just don't. But
because it's funny,
yeah,
it's hilarious, dude.
I
mean the way, just the way the checkpoints look is just so ridiculous. It's this big giant flashing neon kiosk that says save point, you know, over and over again in a hologram on top of it. And then if you want to use the save point, you have to grab and squeeze with both hands, not for a moment, but like for like 3 or 4 seconds of squeezing. And then when you finally get to the threshold of saving, the dude's face pops up in front of you. Is he smiling? Nope. He's just got this concerned look on his face, and it says thank you.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see if they decide to have that humor. I guess they probably will. I can't see them not doing it, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. I am more excited to see what kind of changes they have to their hands, because I would like the game to be better. You know, especially like you said, the climbing, man. If they can nail that to where it's not janky at all, oh my God, maybe I will love this game, you know?
Oh, it would be so much better because they allow you to climb pretty much wherever. I mean, you can pretty much grip almost any surface in this game. If it's something that you can wrap your fingers around, you can climb it. The problem is the climbing is so jank that you spend a lot of time and effort getting halfway up something only to have some janky shit happen and you fall. You know what I mean? And it's just not worth the time that you invest to get up there if you have to start all over again. So yeah, I'm interested to seeing what exactly they're talking about when it comes to updated hand physics. What about this new handgun? What do you think is going to be the difference between this? What could it possibly be?
I don't know. Maybe it's got different modes as far as like 3-round burst, or who knows? Or maybe it's got a cool sight on it. It'll be interesting to see that as well. But I don't know. I am psyched to see it, and I just want them to, like I said, make this game better than it was. Not that it's not a good game, but I just feel like for me, some of the jank just was a turnoff for me. The biggest thing I would love them to fix, Wes, and I don't know if they'll ever do that, but I don't want to rock back and forth and do some weird shit to jump up on a ledge. I'm just never going to do that. So just let me push up and have me move up there. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll go a step further, and I will submit that I will accept the climbing physics for what they are, as is right now, if they just would change that one thing, so that when I get to the top, if it'll just blink me up onto the top of the surface like Half-Life Alyx does, then I'll be happy, because I've played enough Boneworks now that I'm good enough at it that I can pretty much climb anything, but I can't necessarily mount it. When I get to the top, I'm just hanging on the ledge and can't finish the job, you know?
Yeah, and just when people describe it, well, you need to crouch down but no, man, like the whole thing sounds like such a process that, and I've tried all that BS and it's just not working. So I choose to never climb up a ledge in Boneworks again until they fix it.
I actually, the last time I played, I did it successfully like 4 or 5 times.
So you're getting to be an expert and you're showing me up.
I tried like 30 times and did it successfully 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
But yeah, I used that crouch technique that Main Fan posted on our Discord invite in the description. 3 new maps to the game's sandbox mode. Do you have any interest in the game's sandbox mode?
Not really. I mean, I've never even unlocked it. And that's cool. I mean, if people like this, that's why I picked this video, because it actually looks really intriguing. You got all these different enemies in different areas and everything's coming at you at once. And it would be amazing to me if it didn't have its cheating slow-mo that this person's using. Because how hard is it really if you're slow-moing everything? I can't imagine it being that difficult. But yeah, no, the sandbox mode doesn't really interest me per se, but it is cool that it's there and it gives you more, more to play if you really are into it. So
Yeah, well, yeah, I could see maybe if they continually improve the game like they have been. Uh, After I beat it, which I haven't, I'm not even real. Well, I don't know. I was about to say I'm not close, but I might be close. I've put some real time into Boneworks, so I might be getting fairly close to the end of it. But I really, at this time, I don't see myself interested in Sandbox unless these new maps are just really elaborate. Because maybe my favorite thing about this game is the realism and sense of presence that you feel just because of the production values and the way that the levels are laid out, the way the textures look, the way the sounds are. It's next level. It's real, true second gen production value. So if these maps that they're making aren't something that's already derived from the game, but real new maps that are big and sprawling and original, yeah, it might be worth checking out just because I like to explore.
how cool would it be if like you and I could do the sandbox mode together, multiplayer, co-op? That would be badass. I think then I would definitely be down for some sandbox, and we would just make it the most ridiculous sandbox event ever, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have some sort of multiplayer plans in development right now. But then again, we also know one that Project 4 is in development, and for those of you who don't know, Project 4 is another title set in the Boneworks universe, whatever that may mean. But it's coming out to all VR platforms, including Oculus Quest. Originally supposed to be, wasn't that supposed to come later this year?
I thought,
or am I mistaken?
I thought so, but how much garbage is it going to look like? If it's going to be on Quest, it's definitely going to look like shit, right? Oh wait, no, that's not necessarily true, but people seem to
it won't
think,
look like this.
Yeah,
we can say that with certainty.
Yeah, or I mean, there are devs that do make a completely different build or that much better. I just think that to me, that's such a simplistic way to look at it. Oh, it's on Quest, it's going to look like shit. This equals that 100% of the time. It just leaves a lot out. And it assumes that every developer is lazy. I kind of feel like I'm starting to feel like that thought process is kind of a slap in the face to every developer out there, that if you're going to develop for Quest, I know you're going to make it shit. And I just don't agree with it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand the argument, but like you, I don't agree with it either, because the next game we're going to talk about is proof positive that a game can look absolutely phenomenal on the Quest if it's done right.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the next Boneworks game will be the same way. Now, my whole point being that I don't really know. I mean, it would make logical sense for them to release a multiplayer mode for Boneworks, but if they're really in full-on development of Project 4 like they say they are, and on top of that, people are working from home right now because of the state of the world, I'm not so sure we'll be seeing any multiplayer updates. But then again, we're seeing this update, so obviously they're doing something, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as much as I was, saying I didn't like the way that they handled me personally, I don't like the way they handled the whole save thing or whatever. But I mean, obviously these developers are spot on. They know what they're doing. They're really good. This game is amazing. So I would like to see, maybe they will bring a multiplayer out, and if not, that's fine. That means that they're putting all their effort into the new game that I want to play. So,
Man, could you imagine head-to-head versus multiplayer in this world with, these physics and the melee going up against somebody else?
that would be
That'd
crazy.
be like the ugliest fucking thing that ever happened. You imagine trying to fist fight somebody in this thing?
It'd look like two chicks fighting,
It'd feel like you were underwater. You know what I mean? Trying to fight with somebody.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound fun, but it sounds hilarious.
It sounds fun to watch.
Yeah, fun to watch.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, Rich. So again, that's Boneworks Update 1.4 coming on April 9th via Brandon Lash Twitter. So be on the lookout for that, fans of Boneworks. Anthony,
Yeah.
be on the lookout for that.
Oh yeah, Anthony's a super Boneworks fan, right?
Yep, he does. You know who else loves bones?
My mom!
I hope she does.
Let's give away a game,
Let's
Roots.
do it.
Cosmic Trip. This game is a game that I have never played, but it looks friggin' cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know what's funny about this, and I thought about it after I had sent you the keys. I had said I was gonna buy an extra thing, and I don't think I don't think I bought two. I'll have to check. Maybe I did. But I was going to keep this key, and then I decided screw it and give it away because it looks like a game that I would actually want to try, and looks cool.
Well, allow me to brighten your day, Roots. Viveport Infinity, brother. I'm quite sure. And since it's our birthday party, it wouldn't be a Virtual Strangers episode if we didn't do Viveport in real time, like we do at least once per week.
Oh yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Cosmic Trip is a Viveport Infinity title.
No, I'm pretty sure Vive needs to give us our Viveport Infinity accounts for free.
I'm quite sure of that.
So we keep talking about it. We're giving you money, Vive. Do it.
All right, Cosmic Trip indeed is a Viveport Infinity title. 4.1 stars out of 5, Roots. 67 reviews.
That's good. Well, and that means I get the best of both worlds. I get to give away the key, and I still get to play it. That's awesome.
Indeed, the best of both worlds. So yeah, people apparently think this game is fun, and it looks fun. And this is an older game, dude. Like, this is a Gen 1 wave shooter, but it looks freaking cool, doesn't it? Like, it looks like the graphics are solid. It looks like the gameplay's solid. Looks like something, honestly, that probably should be ported into Quest.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's got a lot to it, and I can't wait to check it out on Viveport. Maybe I'll check out Oshi Wash or something at the same time. At some point, I'm going to play these crappy games that we've talked about, and maybe they'll be amazing, but I want to mess with someone's foot in VR, and I'm starting to feel weird about that, Wes.
Well, the foot is calling, Roots. Will you answer the call?
I think I'm going to have to now.
Anyway, we're going to go to the live chat with this one again for the second time. The next one that we give out will be a comment giveaway. But again, this one's for those who showed up. So listen up, friends, if you would like a copy of Cosmic Trip. Answer me this question. Cosmic Trip is developed by Funktronic Labs, as you can see right there. Name one other VR title brought to us by Funktronic Labs.
Oh, wow, that's a good Google one, because I have no idea. I'd be scrambling for Google right now if I was one of you.
Yep, that's one way to do it, Roots. There are many. You could go to Steam and search for Funktronic Labs
That's true. That's true.
Or you could, there are any number of ways that you could discern this information, or you could really just think closely about it.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm pretty sure you could figure it out.
the bad news is somebody already got it. You missed your chance. Whoever you were too slow.
Well, that being said, congratulations to whoever answered that question first in the live chat. Name one other VR title brought to us from Funtronic Labs. Congratulations. Roots, Cosmic Trip deserves to be on Oculus Quest. The Quest is quite a remarkable device. It never ceases to amaze me whenever I put it on. It seems like these guys keep taking it a step further. Every time, I don't put it on all the time, but, once a month the game will come out and I'll go to check it out, and I'm amazed all over again because they've made just a little more progress in what they're able to do with it. And this certainly was the case this past week when we tried Lies Beneath. Lies Beneath is a survival horror first-person shooter brought to us by the good people at Drifter Entertainment. Once again, 1,000 thank yous to Drifter Entertainment for being so cool. And this is how cool Drifter Entertainment was. They gave Roots and I a Quest key to try out Lies Beneath so that we can review it and tell all you people about it. So I went to record a gameplay the day before it released, and for some reason I couldn't capture the audio. No game audio. So it was just like the picture of the game and my microphone, no game audio. So I contacted the developers and they told me it was a known issue. It was actually something on the Oculus end, something wrong with the Quest software. So what did they do, Roots? They sent us both early access to the Oculus Rift S version of it. So now not only does Weasel get to try out Lies Beneath, but Roots gets to try out Lies Beneath 2 weeks ahead of release.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was good. Yeah, I like that.
Pretty awesome, right? I mean, how cool of them to do something like that. They did not have to do that.
No, and they were so good to get back to us so quickly and actually take our concerns. And, it was more about the audio than anything. But I can't say I was disappointed that one day I was literally telling the Discord, I got to wait till the 14th. And I wasn't even a day. It was like an hour and a half later. I was telling people, well, I'll let you know what I think. And people were like, oh, you got a Quest? And I was like, no, I got an extra key because Drifter Studios is badass, amazing. So yeah, they're definitely a cool developer studio, and we appreciate it.
All right. So Lies Beneath, again, survival horror FPS, check. Drifter Entertainment, these guys have some pedigree. They come from the world of flat gaming. They've worked on some of the top flat gaming titles of all time. They come into VR. They give us Gunheart, which is a super fun, fast-paced shooter, but completely different from what Lies Beneath is. But still, knowing these guys' pedigree, knowing the level of work they did on their Gen 1 game, I had fairly high expectations coming into Lies Beneath. What were your expectations coming into this game?
I had high expectations, but they weren't super high because I didn't know what to expect. But I guess just from the trailer, because it looked so badass action-wise, if anything, I expected crazy action, crazy shooting, crazy being attacked. And that's one thing that they've delivered in droves. And one of the things that it's funny listening to people in Discord, specifically Alex, because it's a love-hate relationship because it's so difficult. And you were making the point before we started that we've all gotten soft, that these games this game is actually hard like they used to be. And so that's a little off-putting. And this game, when there's points where so much is coming at you, it does feel a little bit overwhelming, and you're scrambling for bullets or you're scrambling for whatever. and you've got your melee weapon, you're throwing at people, and I don't know, man, it was just so cool. And even though, how cool was the way that they did the little tutorial in the beginning with the just the trails and the lighter and figuring everything out. It just worked so well that when you started, it wasn't that long, but it was perfect. I don't know. I just really, everything about this game, even the storytelling, the way it looks, the comic book aspect of it, I think they nailed it. And, you know, I've only made it 3 chapters in, but I keep wanting to go back in, which is a good sign, right?
Yeah, I'm on chapter like 6 or 7 in it, and man, it just keeps getting more and more intense. First of all, let's start at the beginning. You mentioned the intro tutorial. I went into that, and just the look and feel of it immediately snapped me back in the Gunheart. Did you notice the similarities between the intro to Lies Beneath and the intro to Gunheart?
No, I didn't, but I should, because I've been playing Gunheart a lot with Scion lately, so I should know it more than you, but no, I didn't notice it.
Do you remember how the intro to Gunheart was? It's been a while.
No, well, I mean, I think I just played it with him 2 days ago, but I don't remember watching the beginning, so I probably didn't even pay attention.
Yeah, the tutorial for Gunheart is like, it's very similar in it's got this white background, and really all you can see are the platforms that you're going to be walking and jumping onto, and eventually some enemies come up for you to shoot. But it's this very same high contrast aesthetic that you're going through, where you're just kind of in this other ethereal plane, and it's just enough for you to learn what you need to know without fully rendering this whole world, but it's stylistic enough to be interesting and at the same time, which is normally tutorials are quite dull, but for some reason they take a different approach to it, and it's cool. It makes the tutorial enjoyable.
Yeah, I wish all developers would do that, because that's one of the worst things. It's like, I don't want to go through a tutorial. I need to, but if you can make me want to do it, or at least make it less painful, or like with this, it was so short to the point. It was like, here's what you need to do, you know, and it baffled me, Wes, because I was watching, somebody was commenting or on something. I don't know if it was Reddit or on a video or whatever, but people were literally saying, "Oh, I wish I would have known that the lighter directed me which way to go." And I was thinking, did they like, how did you not see that? And I mean, it shows you and tells you in the tutorial that, you know, not only is it leading you with the sparks on which direction to go, because there's multiple paths, it pretty much almost makes you want to have that lighter out all the time. And I'll tell you why, because it's not only about where you're going, but it gives you a reticle for your gun, the bear traps on the ground or any things like that, they sparkle, or they have kind of a different thing to them. There's reasons outside of just direction for that lighter, and it just makes me want to always have it out. But then you get into those situations where you need to have a melee in one hand and the gun in the other, because you're doing both. You're throwing that sucker and shooting, because as soon as that guy's dead, there's another 2 guys coming. And the action in this is no joke. And as you go along further, especially the part that Alex is frustrated at, I can see why he gets frustrated, because it's to the point where if you die where he died, you only have 5 seconds to get back into it, and everything's coming at you, and it's just crazy sauce. So.
All right, now I'm confused about a couple of things. First of all, you can use the lighter as a reticle. I had no idea I could use the lighter as a reticle.
Yeah, so whenever you have the lighter on, wherever you're pointing, it's going to have a reticle or a dot or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't know it had anything to do with the lighter.
Yeah, it has to do with the lighter, and then same thing with the it highlights everything. It highlights the food boxes, it highlights the bear traps, all of that. So that lighter pretty much it needs to be used a lot, if not only which direction to go, but to also, you know, make it easier to shoot or whatever. So
Yeah. I noticed it with the highlights that you were talking about. I just never put it together that I had to be holding the lighter to have that reticle on there.
See, I did because I was like starting to shoot and I'm like, where the hell is my thing, dude? And then the next time I had it on, I noticed and I was like, oh my God.
The other thing that confuses me is Alex is ahead of me. I know this because he says he's in a cabin where you get the shotgun, and I haven't gotten the shotgun yet, and I'm outside of the Reynolds cabin. I assume that's probably the same one. I'm getting ready to go into it. But if he's ahead of me and I'm ahead of you, then how do you know what the hell he's talking about?
Oh, just because he showed he posted a clip of somebody else's play and was saying that's exactly where I'm at and so forth. So
I got you.
Yeah.
You know, I did go through a cabin scene that I died on like 3 or 4 times.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And does it not feel like that thing's never going to end? Because I literally ran out of all my ammo in there. At least I'm assuming it's the part that you're talking about.
Well,
there's like
you have to. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a certain thing that you have to do to get out of there, and it's really all about how fast you do that thing.
Okay.
Rather than just killing all the guys.
I thought there had to be something more because it just seemed like they just kept coming, and then I ran out of bullets, and I was like, and then I didn't have my I think I threw my axe and it went over their head and it's gone. And
slow motion, right?
Yeah, and I was like, oh man. And then I was trying to hit him with my gun and that doesn't work, Wes. So yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, so I'll have to try to figure out what that thing is. But yeah, no, this game is,
you have to look, there's 3 things that you have to do. It's the same thing. You have to do it 3 times. And it's pretty immediate as soon as you start. So I think I got through it killing 10 or 12 guys, something like that.
You realized it. If you do it right away, you save some bullets. Now, what are your thoughts on the horror aspect of it? Like the atmosphere and like, did they not, at least for me, I thought that they nailed it. Like it just really.
Yeah, it's absolutely the strength of the game. The style and the atmosphere of the game is what makes the game. The gameplay's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's very well done. It's exactly what we often ask for. We say, hey, when we're playing a zombie game, we don't want these slow zombies just meandering up to us slowly. We want our backs to be put up against the wall and our ass to be on the line. And they do it here. I mean, it's not just zombies either. There's all sorts of different creatures, and the game is dark, so you don't know where they're coming from, but you can hear them. And this is what really makes all the difference in the world in this game is the sound design is so good in this game that, I mean, to have a great horror game, you must have good sound design. And this fact is not lost upon these developers. Not only did they create this cool story that's told through this comic book motif that the entire game goes through. And by the way, the best example we've ever seen of a comic book game, in my opinion. You know, you literally go into the pages of the book in this thing, and it reads like a comic book story. But as creepy as this world is to look at, the sound just takes it to another level. What did you think when you were, I guess it was toward the beginning of the game, and when you first heard that machete guy's voice off to the left up on the hill when he was hacking that thing to bits, his voice sounded like it was straight out of the pits of hell, didn't it?
Yeah, and just everything, you know, you're roaming around and you hear like a weird noise and you're like really looking around because the way that everything comes at you is so sketch that you just don't know if a noise you hear is something's going to be coming at you, because a lot of times it is. And I would agree. They definitely nailed the sound. The audio is amazing, and definitely gives you that creep value, for sure.
Yeah, I was blown away by it, man. Even like the music, it's not like songs, it's like this ambient noise almost that fits the moment, whatever moment you're in. It's really similar to like old school horror movies, like the old Friday the 13th, Halloween style era of horror slasher movies. So you might walk in through a cabin door and it's dark inside, and then say something off to the in the distance falls over, you'll hear a little bling, and then like some like eerie screeching will build from a whisper to a roar slowly over time. It's just so expertly done, and it really raises the level of tension so that they don't do a lot of jump scares in this game, but the way they put everything together, when they do decide to pull one out, it gets you, right?
Yeah, because it's not all the time. It's just out of nowhere. And, it just really shocks you. At least it did for me. But, yeah.
Yeah, because not only is it, these dark, foreboding corridors that you're going down, but when they do jump scare you, it's not just visual. It's the sound, it's the haptics, it's the situation. It just all hits you at the same time. And it makes you need to stock up on toilet paper.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I can't wait to get the shotgun though. How much cooler is it going to be to add that extra part to the whole experience?
Normally I'm a distance, shooter. When I play a shooting game, I like to stay back and pick my enemies apart. But this game really doesn't give you that option. There are different enemy types in the games, and some of them, like the spider things, you can stay back and pick those guys off. But most of the enemies will bum rush you. And as much as that irritates me, as stylistically, it really makes the shotgun a more favorable weapon. So yeah, I gotta imagine the game's going to get a little easier once I have a proper close range weapon.
Yeah, as long as you can pick up the bullets. That was one of the things that I know they patched in the Quest, and I haven't verified they patched it in the Rift S, but I'm assuming. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know that they did a patch today, and I saw the download. Yeah, it's good. And it shows you that the small. It was like giving a black screen if you got too close to some items, but they, it's been out for less than a week and they already fixed it. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, what it's doing is it was resetting your view whenever you would get close to the edge of your play area, whatever that may be. So if you would lean too far in any direction, it would automatically recenter. But instead of popping straight into a recenter, it black screen then recenter. So basically what happens is you go to a black screen, and then when it comes back, the world's 3 feet further away from you than it just was. Yeah, you were right. A little jarring, and it was a little too sensitive, happening too often. But they have, it still does it if you step out of line, but it kind of like with the Vader Immortal, it's a lot more appropriate now than it was at launch.
Yeah, cool.
Another thing you mentioned was the ability to throw melee weapons. Man, does that feel good. I don't know. I'm sure there's, I want to say that there's maybe some auto aim going on, because some of the badass kills that I pulled off were really badass. But at the same time, I've thrown them into the dirt. I even bounced one off the ground and it went into somebody's leg.
Oh, wow.
But
there can't be auto aim because, like I said, I threw it right over the guy's head and lost my axe. There might be some a little bit, but clearly you can miss for sure.
Have you tried to throw your axe into one of those ravens or crows? Or
no,
whatever?
But I did get freaked out by one, and it hit me and tried to kill me. What was the creepiest thing in the beginning was that spider thing. Like it wasn't even it was the way it climbed up and the sounds it was making. It was all, it was creepy as hell, man.
Yeah, they're all like that, man. Every one of these friggin' monsters sounds like it was made by the devil himself. I mean, amazing. I mean, generally, game houses that make these sorts of games, this is kind of what they do, right? They make horror games. But for Drifter to go from something like Gunheart, which was very action oriented, not so heavy on style or story, just kind of a standard action packed shooter. From them to go from that to this heavily stylized and very expertly crafted horror experience. It really just shows how talented these people are. And I know it sounds like I'm sucking them off because they gave us these keys, but if you think that that's the kind of channel we are, go watch my B-Team review from last week. This game really just is that good. And I know that some people will disqualify it immediately because it'll run on the Quest. If you're doing that, you're making a mistake, because this specific art style, for whatever reason, lends itself well to masking the limitations of the Quest. The only way you're ever going to be able to notice it is if you look up close at some of like the rock formations or some of like the plant life. Some of the stuff has a blocky shape to it if you look at it up close. But I promise you, you're only going to notice it if you go looking for it. If you just play the game, it's beautiful.
And if you play it on the Rift or on a PC and you super sampled it, or even if you don't super sample it, you're not going to see any of that. You're going to be blown away at how awesome it looks. That's my point of it looks a specific way on a Quest. It's not going to look good on a Rift or a PC. The limitations don't exist for the PC, and it just made it look that much more amazing, right? I don't get it.
The basic difference between the Quest version and the Rift version are just the stuff that always is there. There's a little shimmeriness to the Quest version that's not in the PC version, but at the same time, the darks translate better over to the OLED screen on the Quest. So it's really a trade-off. You get a little bit more, you don't get any shimmer on the PC version. You also get slightly better lighting effects, like reflections and shadows come across better on the PC version. But you can see in the dark better on the Quest version. So it's a pretty fair trade. They're pretty comparable. And I know there's a few other games that you can say that about, but I feel like out of every game I've ever played on both, that this one is probably the most similar between versions.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think they're both awesome then, because the PC version was amazing, and watching it makes me want to go back and play and be frustrated, because that's what's going to happen, Wes. I'm not as good as you and Alex. I'm getting my butt owned.
Hey, that's how it works, man. Practice makes perfect. Nobody's a pro the first time through.
Yeah.
Now, if I do like Alex said he died 20 or 30 times on this thing. If I do that, I'll probably get pretty pissed off too. But so far, I think 4 or 5 times is the most times that it's taken me to get through any part of it. So
yeah, that's good. Like you said earlier, you die a bunch of times, and then the next time you get to another part, you'll be that much better because of what you overcame, and that's how you get good at a game, right? So
that's right. And it's important to remember, if you try something once and it doesn't work, try something else. If you try it twice and it doesn't work, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Try something else.
Now I'll tell you what, I think I know what I need to do in that cabin. And I think I did it once already, but
I'll just say this:
I won't spoil it, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
it's something obvious, but I didn't know I had to do it multiple times. And after I figured that out, then it got a lot easier.
And I'm thinking what we're talking about will be a theme to some extent, as far as being able to, but I'm pretty sure we're both talking about the same thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, we are.
So,
You got to do it a few times.
makes me want to go back in now because now I know how to beat it.
Believe me, I have struggled to start setting up to record today because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go play some more Lies Beneath. If I get done quick enough, which obviously is not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'd like to play it some more, but we can do that tomorrow night before we edit.
Yeah, I'll be sleeping, and I got to work in 5 hours, I think. I think that's how. Pretty sure. We'll see.
Well, in that case, let's give away a damn game, Roots.
Okay.
It's a birthday celebration. We got to get the damn thing on the road. Let's get going. Killing Floor Incursion is another awesome ass zombie game. A lot of similarities between the game we just spoke about and this game, right?
Yeah, except for you have a lot of different weapons, like automatic weapons in this one, right? Compared to the
freaking grenades.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and then you can do
everything there.
multiplayer in this as well, which is one of the things that's cool, right? Isn't this a multiplayer?
Yeah, that's one of the very coolest things about it is that you can co-op the entire campaign. So, like, it isn't that they give you specific co-op maps or whatever. You can play the story mode, start to finish, with a friend. And that's something we don't have enough of in VR, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy about this game is exactly what you said before. These zombies come flying up on you, and it gets pretty intense. And as much as some of the gameplay is repetitive, it's just so satisfying and creepy as hell, man. Look at those things, dude. That does not look like something I want in my face, but I want to shoot it.
Visceral Roots, and bloody, just intensity on a scale unlike most. Most games can't live up to the intensity that this game brings, especially if you like bloody, gory games. This is a great one. A vast array of weapons for you to choose from, both projectile as well as melee. Options, brother. Melee or locomotion. This game has hybrid locomotion. You can free locomote or you can teleport at the same time. You don't have to change any control schemes. You can always do both.
You kind of want to do kind of like in Half-Life, right? Sometimes you get into those hairy situations where you want to teleport away quick. So,
yeah, and you can do it in there. And I guarantee you will. There are parts in this game I 100% guarantee you're going to be running for your life with that teleport.
Yeah, I need somebody else in there with me, Wes. I'm scared. This game is one of those games that I've only tried it a few times, but I need to go back into it because I don't think I've beat it. But I got kind of far on it. So.
Same here. I went deep into the game, and then, as I often do, I got distracted with something else. And I went back into it semi-recently with my daughter just because she wanted to play something co-op that we hadn't beat yet. And we already beat Farpoint. We already beat Arizona Sunshine. So we went into Killing Floor Incursion.
You didn't beat it?
No, we played through a good portion of the game. We probably played halfway through the game.
Wow. Oh, cool. Yeah. So it was a zombie, you were looking for zombie. I'm assuming your daughter was looking for zombie game. You went from one to the next to the next.
Just co-op, bro. Looking for a co-op story game that we could shoot. We've also played Evasion. I think we beat that too.
I was gonna say you could Windlands to it, but that's not shooting. It's more of a bow.
It's not on PlayStation VR.
Oh, okay. So you're looking for PlayStation VRs. Yeah.
Yeah, because for co-op I have to be on PSVR.
You just need to get a new computer and another headset. They're easy to get these days. Oh, right?
Sure, yeah. I'll just go empty my bank account out and do that right now.
Yeah, just to do co-op.
Right. All right, so Killing Floor Incursion Steam version in the comments down below. So if you would like to win Killing Floor Incursion for Steam, just leave a comment down below saying, hey, I would like to win Killing Floor Incursion for Steam. And we will assign everyone a number and ask Google to give us a random number. And when Google does so, we will go back and inform that person that they indeed have won this awesome zombie shooter.
Yeah, nice.
All right, so I just alluded to it. PSVR, Roots. It's time to talk PSVR. There are people in the audience right now saying, man, damn it, all this PC talk, all this Quest talk. Let's talk PSVR. And let's talk Iron Man VR. So it was just this last Tuesday that we had Anthony on as we were recording tomorrow's episode, Monday show 32, and Nostradamus Jr. brought up Iron Man VR and brought up his concern that it might be delayed, and we found out just a few days later that it would in fact be delayed once again. You know, Roots, we were supposed to get this game late last year. Then they pushed it up into February, if I'm not mistaken. And then from February, it got pushed into May. And now, even though that's, 6 or 7 weeks away, they're delaying it indefinitely now due to complications from coronavirus. Now, this delay coming specifically from Sony, along with The Last of Us 2, which happens to be probably their most highly anticipated game of the year. So, honestly, I think that the delay may be on Sony's end this time.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And it's kind of a bummer because PlayStation really needs this game to come out. They haven't really had a really amazing game like PC has, and you know, it's just a little bummed to hear about this. You know, although, you know, Anthony was right. He definitely was concerned for it, and it now makes me concerned, like I was saying, for the actual PlayStation 5, because I can't imagine this is the only thing that's getting delayed. And I mean, that would be more of a you know, how many things are products are made issue versus, you know, the software. But I get this gut feeling that's going to get delayed, Wes, and makes me sad inside.
Yeah, me as well. You know, we've kind of you know, pointed out a few times now that it seems odd this time around. Sony's being a little more slower to divulge information with their next-gen console. If they're releasing it this year, it sure doesn't seem like it as we sit here in April. But specifically with these games, the delays are likely a result of stay-at-home policies affecting the final phases of the game approval process. We know that Sony has this stringent QA policy. I got to imagine that some of their QA testers are probably having difficulty completing their tasks since they can't come to work.
And let me ask you this, and I don't think that this is necessarily the case for these developers, but do you think that, I mean, I almost feel like there's going to be a lot of developers that can't get their stuff done on time, and they're going to use this as an excuse and say, oh, well, Corona. And then we're just all going to have to just accept it, like we are wearing face masks everywhere. And I'm not going to accept it, Wes. I'm just not doing it.
That's right. I want my damn game. I want it.
Yeah, I'm going to go down to Sony headquarters. Well, no, I'm not going to go to Sony headquarters. I don't know that I can get a plane to Japan, but I definitely would love to see this game come out sometime this year. I think it will still come out this year, but man, that indefinitely sounds pretty scary, right?
Yeah. Ryan Payton from Camouflage, the developer of this game, tweeted out just last week that they've been in crisis mode for a month, and that they're holding it together the best they can. But yeah, you're seeing this from a lot of different studios. I happen to know right off the top of my head that Monochrome, the developers behind Contagion VR, they've pretty much got Contagion finished now. The fourth and final chapter, the biotech chapter, is pretty much done now. But they've had to kind of pump the brakes a little bit because they're having to work around these restrictions that are being imposed.
They better,
so yeah,
they better be careful, because can you imagine if somehow, some way, Onslaught doesn't get delayed and it somehow slides out right before Contagion, and now it has to compete against both Walking Dead games? It's not a good scenario, Wes.
I was thinking about Onslaught recently just because of that. If they were delaying the game just so that they could find a right moment where they might have the market to themselves and isolate themselves a little bit from the other Walking Dead game, now might be the time, Roots. We got an update this week from the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners development team over at Skydance Interactive, and they tweeted out that, quote, "We are adjusting as best we can to the challenges of COVID-19. But the team also stressed that, quote, "We're working our hardest to get Saints and Sinners out to you on PSVR this spring." So they're still saying spring. I guess that's a little bit, it brings a little optimism, right?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how quickly this thing fades away or doesn't fade away. That's really the thing. There's so many unknowns. I can't imagine what it's like for a lot of these developers. I mean, they get their set, they got their time, everything's rolling perfect, and then all of a sudden this hits, and it's like, oh God, this is not the time, right? So
yeah, and as we were just saying, I mean, it's only so much of this is up to the developer. Iron Man VR was nearly finished last summer. The people were playing the game and saying it was phenomenal. So this game, in all likelihood, is finished or very close to it, but it can't get through the quality process at Sony. So who's to say, even if The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners gets finished relatively soon, who's to say they're going to be able to get it through the Sony process?
Man, what a bummer. PlayStation VR needs these games right now. Something.
Either one of them.
Yeah.
Either one of them would be huge. I mean, look, just think about what it would mean to the PSVR platform to get Saints and Sinners right.
Yeah, that would be huge.
I mean, it's one of the best VR games we've ever seen, right?
Yeah. To me, it's a very, very close second to Half-Life Alyx, like right on its tail. I know some people disagree with that, but I think it was done very well. Amazing.
I tend to agree with you, Roots. It's I keep going back and forth between The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners and Resident Evil 7 as being my favorite games. Half-Life Alyx and Lies Beneath both being considered for this conversation as well. I need to finish those two and let some time pass before I really decide, to make some changes like that to my all-time favorites. But it's a good time to be a VR gamer, yeah?
Yeah, think about the 2020 end of the year show, award show, and the plethora of high-end games we're going to be talking about. It's going to be a lot different discussion on the awards and what's the best game and so forth, because like you just said, I would have a hard time deciding whether I liked Half-Life Alyx better or Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, and the only difference between the two is I'm not a Half-Life Alyx or Half-Life fanboy. I didn't grow up with the series, so I think that has to be taken into the consideration. I know Half-Life fans don't want to take that into the consideration, or into the whole thing. But I think that's bigger than people think, as far as
Well, here's
that goes.
well, here's the thing when it comes to this kind of discussion with me. And I do, of course, recognize that I am a Walking Dead fanboy. I might not be a Half-Life fanboy. I am a Walking Dead fanboy. I recognize that. So the way I generally approach these conversations is the best, quote, the best VR game and my favorite, quote, VR game doesn't necessarily have to mean the same thing. Just because it's your favorite, I mean, it may be the best to you, but I can recognize, the technical achievement behind something like Half-Life or Asgard's Wrath. So, like, literally, as soon as Asgard's Wrath came out last year, I quit calling Resident Evil 7 the best VR game ever and started calling it my favorite because I recognized, even though I enjoyed it the most, Asgard's Wrath is probably a bit more of a complete game and a more of a technical achievement than RE7 was. So, some people are able to make this distinction between my favorite and the best, and then there's other people who say that if it's my favorite, then it must be the best. So I think that's the ability to recognize this is probably the cause of a lot of this debate.
Yeah, true. And I never really thought of it from that perspective. I wouldn't consider myself a Walking Dead fanboy, but I would have to say that I've watched the series, so I have a vested interest in it, and I don't in Half-Life, outside of how awesome the game is. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from. Another big title that's been long awaited coming to PlayStation VR is Gorn. And we also got an update from the developers of Gorn this past week. The developers of Gorn say that they are currently trying to pass Sony's certification system. So they're in QA review as well, but the developer Free Lives has divulged that they're currently correcting feedback from their first attempt. So they tried to get through QA. Sony kicked it back to them and said, you need to fix X, Y, Z. That's what they're doing right now. So it seems that they may be a little closer to release than Saints and Sinners is.
Yeah, what an awesome system, right? Like actually telling people what they need to fix on their game. I wish Oculus could go follow suit and tell the developers, hey, this is why you're not getting on our platform, instead of just telling them, no, sorry.
Yeah, right. Because I said so.
Yeah,
right?
because they're the original because I said so. Jerks.
Yeah. Sony used to be notoriously maligned for being too strict on their QA process. But ever since Oculus Quest came to town, people have forgotten all about that.
Well, the thing is like, there's not, the games that we know about on the Quest that aren't going on are clearly good games. There's no reason for them not to be on there. Whereas with Sony, they just want to put out the quality. I think there's more politics involved with, go figure, Facebook. There's more reasons than just, oh, your game isn't playing right. And it just puts me off. It just puts the developers into such a weird spot. But we've gone over that so many times.
Yeah, it would certainly seem to be the case when it comes to Facebook.
Yeah.
For sure. Anyway, PSVR players have to wait to play Gorn, but you know who doesn't have to wait to play Gorn, Roots? Steam VR players. And if you are one of such Steam VR players, you too can own Gorn. And this is how you do it. You go down below into our comment section and say, Weasel, Roots, I would like to win a copy of Gorn. When you do so, we will put a little number by your name. And within a few days, we will draw a random number using the Google tool. And if we draw your number, then you shall have it. It's a celebration, Roots. Happy birthday, brother.
Yeah, happy birthday for sure. And these people get the free games, and it's awesome.
Yep. So that's 2 now. 2 we've given away in the live chat, 2 that we've given away in the comments. The next one, I think we're going to go back to the comments for. But first, let's talk about a title that, to be honest, it's been coming soon for so long that I've forgotten all about virtual Battlegrounds Roots. Like Cyberdream, the developer of this game, has been teasing this as coming soon for like a year now. And literally, I had forgotten that this game was in development until Cyberdream announced that it just this past week that it's ready to launch virtual Battlegrounds via Steam Early Access. And they're going to do it just this week. Roots, are you familiar at all with this title? And if so, were you like me and just had forgotten that they were even making
No,
it?
I didn't even know about this one. And I've played, Last Man Standing in beta, and I've got what is that other one? Standout. And I like these type of games. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how good this one is,
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Basically, what they're trying to do here is bring PUBG into VR, because that's what this looks like. Looks like PUBG, and it's designed to play like PUBG. There will be options available for locomotion, aiming, free look, and interactions, enabling players to climb anything for the perfect vantage point, blind firing around corners, dual wielding weapons, opt into close quarters for melee combat, slide into cover, and you can even zip line across the map if that's what you want to do. Again, just like PUBG Roots, options.
Yeah, hopefully they come out with, what do you think the price will be? Because, it's multiplayer, and that's the biggest worry, is that they're going to overcharge and not get people in there right off the bat, and, won't have the player base.
Well, that's kind of the worry here, isn't it? Because even if this game is polished and perfect, the player base is relatively small, especially when you're ruling out PSVR and you're ruling out Quest. You're taking the smallest piece of the pie with PCVR. So that's a bad omen for strictly multiplayer game such as this. But sometimes people pull it off. Pavlov pulled it off, and Onward pulled it off. So who's to say that virtual Battlegrounds can't do the same?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if they're smart, which they probably won't do this, because we're living in a different world of Half-Life Alyx and all these games that have came out with more expensive prices. So the $20 price doesn't sound that bad, or the $25 price doesn't sound as bad. But if this game took a page from Pavlov and they came out at $10 and kept it at 10 during early access and brought it out of early access and then jumped the price to $24.95 or whatever, Pavlov did it right. They filled the lobbies. They got so many people owning it, and they're still getting people buying it because it's such an amazing game. But most developers, I think, are more looking on the quick dollar right off the bat, and they're just not thinking strategically like that. And we're not in a place in VR yet where, especially when you're limited to just PC versus all the other platforms, I don't know that coming out too expensive. Even at $20 would be about the safest. Anything lower than that would be okay. Anything over $20, I think, is death, and 20 might be death. So
yeah, I get it. And it's a tough thing too for these people to recognize, because honestly, if this game turns out to be what they say it's going to be, and if it had players in the lobbies, I mean, I could see this being a $30 game. But that's the thing. Will there be players in the lobbies for more than a week or two? Only time is going to tell when it comes to that. Virtual Battlegrounds will feature 6 single-player and co-op training modes focused on strengthening skill sets, while the main Battle Royale modes have solo, squad, and custom private lobby options. The training modes include a basic basketball court, firing ranges, shoot house training, PvE bot modes, PvPvE battle training for squad modes, and a multiplayer CQC arena. The main event supports up to 24 players across a 4 square kilometers map filled with environmental features to utilize. I mean, this is pretty much, this is the one, right? This is the game that those players have been waiting for. What do you think this does to the future of what's the other one that I'm thinking of? Population 1. You think Population 1 has a chance in hell if this thing turns out to be good?
Yeah, if it comes out and it's good and they get the player base, and maybe not, because it does everything that they said you can do in this is same as Population 1, except for, you know, maybe the flying or whatever. You can jump and fly or whatever, but I don't know, man. We've said it before. Population 1 is baffling to me. It's like it just disappeared. And when we originally watched it a year ago or a year and a half ago or whenever it first came out, it looked amazing. Now I've seen the same trailer and I think it doesn't look as good anymore. And they were trying to be the new Fortnite, and it's not even Fortnite. It's like a weird version of Fortnite. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that works out, because my gut instinct is unless it's just like Fortnite, whatever it's going to be is going to be a little bit weird and not as desirable to the Fortnite crowd that they think they're going to draw in.
Right. And this game looks a lot more like PUBG than that game looks like Fortnite.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with PUBG. PUBG just had its time and Fortnite took over. But if you could bring in PUBG into VR, which kind of a standout, is kind of similar to it, but it doesn't look as PUBG-ish to me like this. And you've got that whole new level of our bunch of people that just came into VR that are playing Half-Life Alyx that are probably looking for a game like this. And it's new, so they're going to have their shot at those people. So,
absolutely. All the weapons will be realistic and physics-based, which includes the ballistics. Plus, players will be able to use attachments to improve their loadouts. So, they're going for realism here, much like PUBG versus Fortnite on the flat consoles. This is going for a more realistic approach. You're still going to, paratroop down into the map and utilize the environment to find, everything you need to win. And whereas I imagine Population 1 / Fortnite more of an arcadey version of the same concept.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, Virtual Battlegrounds scheduled to arrive on Steam Early Access on 8th of April, supporting Oculus Rift, Valve Index, HTC Vive, and Windows Mixed Reality. The studio has also confirmed that Virtual Battlegrounds will work on Oculus Quest using the Oculus Link connection.
Cool.
Absolutely cool. Looks like a good game, man. I hope this one catches on. If it's as good as it looks, the developer has taken the time, obviously. They didn't rush it in the market. And even with this, late release after all this time, they're still just going into early access. So, I mean, more improvement to come even still.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, you want to give away a shooter, Roots?
I do, actually. Let's do it.
You want to give away a Rooter Shoots?
I don't know that is that a real game?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Space Pirate Trainer. If you don't know how to shoot guns in VR, nothing will train you quite like Space Pirate Trainer. This game, you know, it doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. It knows what works in VR, and that's why it's been such a popular title since it was released all that time ago. People love to shoot shit in VR, Roots. People love particle effects in VR. People love glowing bloom effect in VR. Take those three things, crank them all up to 11, and what you get is Space Pirate Trainer.
Yeah, and what I liked about it too is it actually kind of was humorous as well. You know, like the bad guy and just some, like even the beginning, I enjoyed it. It just it's different and it's very action packed. It's definitely a bullet hell shooter where you constantly need to be moving and blocking stuff and shooting stuff. And like I've said many times, I like to control the uncontrollable, and that's what this game feels like. It's just crazy.
Yeah, so this is one of the earliest examples of a VR game that just gets it right. They keep it simple with a simple concept and just execute it to perfection.
Yeah, I agree. This is definitely one of the better shooters out there as far as like you said, even especially being that it's it's an older one, you know. So
all right, so if you would like to own a copy of Space Pirate Trainer on Steam for Steam VR, answer me this question in the live chat. The developer of this game, Illusions, the developer of this game is Illusions. They are also working on a game currently as we speak that has been it's been in the press a lot as of late. Coming soon to VR arcades. Name the next title coming from Illusions.
God, I don't think I'm gonna win this one, Wes. I don't know what the answer is.
The developer of Space Pirate Trainer bringing us a new game for VR arcades. Name that game and you will win a copy of Space Pirate Trainer. All right, Roots. One of the things that I really love about being a VR gaming enthusiast is you never know. You never know when a game's just going to pop up out of nowhere, and one day you don't have the game and the next day it's released. And that's what happened this last week with Grip. Grip is a combat racing game that was developed years ago for flat games. This has been out on Steam for a couple of years now. Developer Caged Element Incorporated and publisher Wired Productions have announced that they're bringing their popular PC title Grip Combat Racing into the VR sphere. When? Effective immediately. You can buy this right now, Roots, and get this. Normally, this is a $30 game. They're currently selling it for 70% off. So up until April 6th, which is actually tomorrow, so get it now. Up until April 6th, you can get this game for $9. Now, I haven't had a chance yet to get into this, regrettably, because I can't wait. This thing looks awesome. But you tried it out, Roots. What did you think?
Well, my first thought is I know it shows the how crazy this thing is, but I don't like the guy puking in the video. I just think that's bad optics for any trailer. But I'll give it to him because the way that you're moving in this thing, as you can see, is very fast paced. It's crazy, and I can imagine that you probably will blow chunks if you have a sensitive stomach or you get motion sickness. This is possibly might not be the best game for you, at least in the first person mode. You can go into third or first person. But it was just crazy. It was crazy the way the speed, the way that your car is one of those cars that if you flip it over, it'll just run. So you're constantly turning and flipping, and you're on the ceiling, you're on the ground, you're rolling around. It's chaos. And one of the things I thought was cool is they actually have many different modes. You can do just strictly racing. You can do strictly racing with weapons. You can do where it's just like your weapons actually, not only does your place determine whether you win, but you get points for shooting each other. And so that determines who wins as well. So there's a lot of different options as far as that goes. And just like any other flat game, there's all sorts of stuff to unlock, cars, weapons, that type of stuff. But I would say that this game, as good as it felt in VR, it almost felt like it was made for from the ground up for racing. They did a really good job porting it over, and I enjoyed it. And I definitely think it's worth $9 all day.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing about VR racers, man, is there's a lot of good VR racers. But it seems like the very best of the best are flat ports. They seem to just translate so well for whatever reason, even though they weren't developed specifically for VR.
Well, I'll tell you what the issue is. Most games or racers or whatever, they feel like the track is it, like the track and whatever, the racing. But what flat gaming has over VR in a lot of ways, and I think Asgard's Wrath was one of the first games that you saw it start to change, is they have reasons to go back in, like even just unlocking all your cars and weapons, and every time you win, you're getting your points and you're leveling, and now you can unlock different stuff, and you have access to different stuff, and that's what pulls people back in, and that's what flat gaming does better than VR does at the moment. Is they give you that, it's kind of like that addictive thing that makes you want to go back. And that's kind of why we were so enamored with Half-Life Alyx and Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, because you felt that compelling, feeling like I need to go back in, where I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking about playing Alyx, and I'm not, you know what I mean? There's just certain games that you just constantly think about going back into, and we're starting to see that happen a little bit more in VR than used to be, or maybe it's just me. But I feel like there's those things that make you want to go back in and unlock stuff and try different cars and so forth.
Yeah, and what a great birthday gift, right? Just to have this dropped in our laps like that. The vehicles are all armed to the teeth with an assortment of weapons to hinder opponents, from missiles to railguns, as well as power-ups like shields and turbos, offering a wide variety of tracks, 29 tracks in total, across various hostile-looking planets and into deep space. These will have players scaling walls and ceilings whilst being able to perform tricks and stunts on these challenging, twisting tracks. Basically, everything I like about those titles we talked about a few weeks ago on the Monday show. This game basically pulls my favorite thing out of each one of them, puts it all together in the one package. Basically, what I'm seeing when I look at this is the game that everybody, all those people that complain about Deathlap. Not me, I love Deathlap, but those people that complain about Deathlap, I think what they wanted was something more like Grip.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think they're going to enjoy it. I know I did, and I need to pick it up because I had played it with Alex's Steam copy, and I don't want to get caught out in the cold, Wes, and not have a copy of this. I know Radio Run picked it up, so I mean we're starting to get enough people in the Discord to where we could actually get some good multiplayer matches going. Just a couple more people. So,
yeah, stay tuned for just a moment. We're going to be giving away a key to such effect. But first, let's talk a little bit more about Grip. You said that the cars will run no matter which way that they're flipped. You can flip them this way, that way. They just continue to go. What great logo design, right? Look at the Grip. You could flip it upside down and it says the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely one of the strengths of this game is the car, being able to flip, because you'll go up on the ceiling and it'll flip over, and then you'll hit a jump and it'll jump you to the other side. And now you're on, it just, or you might just fall and land, and then land back on your other side and continue going. So just really cool, and it's continuous movement, and I don't know, I had a lot of fun. I think it'd be a lot more fun with other players that I know, because all I did was campaign, but it's definitely crazy.
Yeah, but one of my favorite things about, say, Wipeout is when the track takes off and changes elevation, and it's almost like a roller coaster track, the way that it loops and goes up and down. Same thing with Dash Racing. You have these tracks that'll loop and turn every which way. Grip seems like it does that more than either of those other titles.
Yeah, because you might hit a jump and flip, and you're spinning. As I mean, you just saw that one car. It just, I can't stress enough that if you're going to be doing what that guy just did, if you have a weak stomach or you get motion sick, this is not the game to probably be playing. Although I'd like to see a video of you doing it. But no, it's fun.
Well, maybe I'll make a video of me doing it. You know who else makes videos of them doing it?
I hope this isn't true, but
My mom.
who doesn't love making videos of you doing it, though, right?
Oh, virtual reality support is free for all current Grip combat racing owners today. Compatible with all the normal Steam VR headsets, Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and Valve Index. So just like when Wipeout came over, a year and a half ago, same deal here. If you own it flat, then you own it VR. Automatically free on day one. It's probably already updated. You just got to go play it.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned at the top, for those of you who don't own it yet, you need to buy it today because it's $9 today, and tomorrow it's going to be $30.
Oh God!
So get it now.
I need to buy it today, Wes. For real.
Buy it now, Roots. Yeah. Anyway, I just teased a moment ago that we had a key to give away that may help us in our quest to build this ultimate community of online VR battle racers. And we've got a pretty good head start. People generally on a daily basis now looking to get a race together. But I bet none of them have Hyperwheel Overdrive yet. This game just came out, so I know not too many of them have it. And you don't hear a lot about this game other places. Now, we've featured it a few times in the lead up to release, but it just came out last week. The developers were kind enough to give Roots and I review copies, but they were also kind enough to give us a third copy so that we could pass it on to our community, and hopefully this person, whoever they may end up being, will join our Discord and hook up with us so that we're not just playing bots all the time. Now, the developer has offered to play with us, which I think is really cool. We're definitely going to take him up on that, but we're newbies. This guy's been playing this game since he started making it. He's going to blow us away if we go in there today and try to play him. So what we need is you guys to either win this game and join our Discord, or we need one of you guys that are already in our Discord to win this game. Come on, guys. You can do it. I have faith in you. Roots, I'm really looking forward to getting in and trying out this one, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I think the best case scenario for somebody winning this would be Scion or Radio Run, because they're like racing fanatics anyway. But I can't guarantee you're going to win those guys. You gotta win it. But I don't know. I know we haven't even stepped into it because we were kind of waiting to till after this week. But I want to fly that plane, Wes. I want to see how crazy this thing is. You know, it looks very intriguing to me.
Air, land, and sea, Roots. Air, land, and sea. This vehicle can go. You can make it however you want it to be. You have a laser rifle and missile guns and just madness, basically. Pandemonium.
This looks more like arena mode type than racing anyway, or at least that part we were looking at. So maybe there's the different arenas that people loved in Deathlap, right? Where it was more of a just an all-out battle royale where you're using some of the obstacles, but you're just constantly running around and just killing each other.
Yeah, it basically is more about the battle than the racing at this point, but I do think there is some legit racing in it too.
Okay, cool. I'm excited to check it
Yeah,
out.
and the developer shared an anecdote with me too that I think he said he had his dad in it, like his elderly dad in it, and he ended up being able to play it. So eventually, he didn't pick it up, obviously, but eventually he got to the point where he could play it. So look, if that guy can do it, you can too, right?
Yeah, true.
All right, so we're going to give this one away in the chat right now to someone who's watching the live. Roots, brother, do me a favor and take me to split screen.
All right, split screen it up.
Boom. And with that said, today's question is for a copy of Hyperwheel Overdrive on Steam VR. And if you would like to own that game, answer this question for me in the chat right now. Please name the developer of Hyperwheel Overdrive.
Yeah, now I get it. I was like, why does he have me pull him out of there? Okay, I thought maybe you were going to ask a trivia question about your headsets behind you.
Ah, well, we could do that for the next one maybe. But we just gave two away in a row to live chat, so I'm probably going to give the next two to the comments. But that's a good idea.
Yeah.
When we get back to live chat, I may absolutely do that. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, again, for those of you who would like to own a copy of Hyperwheel Overdrive on Steam VR, just name the developer in the chat right now.
Yeah,
you can do
you
that.
should be able to remember.
Come on.
He just said it like a minute ago, 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, dude, like it was on the screen like fucking 10 times. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You guys, what are you doing, guys? Come on. Anyway, more VR news, Roots. It just kept coming. The show, like literally, dude, the show just wrote itself this week. Some weeks I really have to pour over and read every news site like 10 times and do a process of elimination of which crappy story I want to add in. And not this week, dude. This week, the thing just wrote itself literally. I was like, okay, we're going to talk about that, and that. Now, just got to figure out what order I want to put them in.
Yeah, it's always nice when you can actually have enough to cover or even be able to say, well, I'm going to cut this because I've got so much. That's always even better.
Well, like last week, it was like, okay, we've got Half-Life Alyx release to talk about. Then what, right?
Yeah.
Which we put together a good show last week, don't get me wrong, but I had to put some effort into making a good show last week, and it was pretty effortless this week because we had stuff like this. Swarm VR, a fast-paced arcade-style grapple shooter, has been revealed to be in the works for Oculus Quest and PCVR headsets. This is a title that will have, quote, quick sessions, bright, colorful worlds, and globally competitive leaderboards that will take you back to the glory days of arcade games. Roots. I remember the glory days of arcade games, don't you?
Yeah, I do actually. And, this seems like this game was made for Justin because he's the leaderboard master and he likes to shoot stuff. So I like the way that this game, it seems like a mix between Windlands 2 and like Space Pirate Trainer or something. And I don't know, man, everything about it. Yeah, it's got a cartoony look to it, but it just looks like it's going to look amazing in VR. And it's just going to be another game that's very similar to Lies Beneath, where you're just like, oh my God, this looks amazing. And then the action looks phenomenal as well. So I'm kind of psyched to check this game out.
Nah, bro. It's too gamey.
Oh, yeah, it's too gamey. Never mind.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, what this game, in all seriousness, what it looks like Looks like Vertical Shift to me, man. You know, there's another upcoming game with a similar premise to this, and I know you'll probably remember us talking about it. I'm pretty sure it had Peter Porker in
Oh
it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it was a lot like this. Only this is way more cartoony looking than that was. But honestly,
It's more
I
polished.
think the cartoony version looks better than the other version does.
Yeah, I like the way it looks, and it looks like it's not easy. It looks like it's actually got mechanics to it, and that worm thing had a good shield on its face, and it looks like something that every growing VR kid wants to see in their game. And yeah, I like it.
Well, here's the description from the developer roots. Armed with just a grappling hook and your handy pistols, you'll be plunged into a flow state as you grapple, shoot, and battle your way to the heart of the swarm before it's too late. Twitch reactions won't be enough to carry you through. You'll need to think strategically and plan your next move to stay alive. Intense, demanding, exhilarating, and did we mention hard?
No, you didn't, but that sounds pretty good though. Sounds like we're starting to get to a point where a lot of these games are actually starting to become harder and harder, which is good because I guess they figured out that not all VR people are lame and want easy games, right?
Well, if you want it to be easy, there's an easy way to get it that way. You put it on easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but some people have a really, really big aversion to doing that. And I don't like to do it either, but there's points where
Oh, you can't have both, dude. If you want it to be easy, put it on easy. If you don't want it to be easy, you know what I'm saying? If you don't want to put it on easy, then don't expect it to be.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, I put Half-Life Alyx on hard without ever even playing it. Not because I wanted it to be hard, but because I knew it wasn't going to be. Isn't that bad?
Yeah,
I knew it wouldn't be that hard.
yeah, that is pretty bad actually, and that's the one gripe that we've said we had about Alex is that they kind of dumbed it down for the new VR guys coming in, and I think they could have made it a lot more difficult, but had it be just as fun or even better. Which I mean,
It's a weird thing with that game though, man, because I feel like it's weird. I feel like if it had been harder, that I may have appreciated the fact that it was harder and more challenging, but at the same time, I don't know that I would have put 20 hours into it if it were harder the way that I have. A lot of the reason why I'm going back to it so much is because it is so easy to play. So, like I said last week during my impressions, it's both a weakness and a strength at the same time.
yeah, double-edged sword.
Indeed. All right, so this was developed by indie developer Green Sky Games, and the title is said to let you swing like Spider-Man while participating in an aerial gunfight. No release date has been provided for the game, but the developer indicates that a release is planned for this year on Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift with cross-buy, and other Steam VR headsets. So here we have another one, dude, that's basically designed around Oculus Quest because let's be honest, if you want to make money, what else are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
You're going to design it around the Oculus Quest. But again, this alpha footage, which by the way, I don't know if this is actual gameplay or just a pre-rendered animation because it looks pretty damn polished to be alpha footage. But I digress. If it looks like this, I think it's going to be a beautiful game.
Yeah, I agree, and I look forward to playing it if it looks like this. Well, even if it doesn't.
Plus, I want a T-shirt with that logo on it too. By the way, shit, man, that thing looks cool.
Yeah, I think everything about this game looks pretty cool, and I don't think it's going to be a detractor to have it look as cartoony. But I'm starting to get used to that. You know, to me, it's just another immersion, different experience. You know. But I just think outside the box and just pretend I got sucked into a cartoon. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, or that we're just in the games that we love to play before VR, right?
yeah.
It's like I wasn't just a sim gamer before VR. I liked like regular video games, and now that I get to be in them, it's awesome.
Yeah,
You know?
true.
And some of them are Sims, and some of them are cartoony, arcade games like this.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, is that's what's so weird about Sims. If you really think about it, the average person that raves about Sims, they want the realism and they want everything to be realistic, and they discount how great something like this can be. Because I'm the opposite. I want to go into a world that I can't do. Like if everything's realistic and it's just like real life, I can go do that in real life. I can't swing around in this cartoon world in real life. It's impossible. It doesn't exist. So I feel like that's a little bit different. So
Yeah, I think I like the concept here. He's got platforms all over this thing. You have waves of enemies like a old school arcade shooter would have. And basically, you're going to be swinging from one side of this thing to the other, right? Swinging, making your way through it. You'll get to the other side. You'll rest on one of those platforms. You'll see the enemies, how they set themselves up for the next wave. And you'll have to sit here and come up with a plan of how you're going to get back to the other side. How you're going to kill that guy. How you're going to get around this guy over here to kill that guy. And then you're going to jump off a 1,000-foot jump, and start swinging and shooting. Man, I mean, it's quite a concept.
yeah, I like the fact that you also you're not swinging as you're shooting. You're swinging, and then you got both your guns, and so as you're going up, then you're doing your thing, and then you come down, and I imagine you grab again. It's really going to get you into a rhythm, and I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, see, he said that it will bring about flow state, and that's kind of the goal, isn't it?
Yeah. Now all they need to do is add some kind of music tracks, and we could have another music rhythm game. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we need more rhythm games. We did an episode on that too, by the way. You guys take a look in the backlog of videos on our channel for the we need more rhythm games, right?
Yeah, we definitely do.
All right. You know what else we need more of? We need more MMORPGs, Roots, because we don't already have enough of them coming out. But you know what? Before we get to that, I almost forgot. We need to give away another game. It's a party, dude. We need to give away budget cuts. And with the state of the world as it is today, we're seeing a lot of budget cuts, right? Left and right. Everywhere. People are getting sent home from work and budgets are being slashed unless you're in the United States government, in which case just the opposite of happening. The budget's just going.
And budget grows.
Budget growth.
Yeah. What the best part about this game is, Wes, right now, if you win this key, is they're taking all the cool parts of budget cuts too, and they're going to incorporate that into one. So the game that you get today is going to be, or whenever this is given, actually in a day or two, will be a different game in another month or two, or whenever they get the update done. An even better game, which is awesome, right?
Yeah, that is true. And what Roots is talking about is the sequel to Budget Cuts just came out, Budget Cuts 2. And it was developed not only by Neat Corporation, but the sequel was also worked on by Fast Travel Games. They really updated the engine with lots of new weapons and mechanics. And they recently announced that a lot of those features and updates that the sequel came with are going to be applied retroactively to the original budget cuts. So the game that you're going to win this week, at some point in the time, some undisclosed date, is going to get a significant update. And it's much needed, especially when you think about the fact that this game, we just got a release date on it last week for PlayStation VR. It hasn't even came to PlayStation VR yet, Roots. The first one hasn't.
Wow.
So, I mean, that would be a pretty lame thing to think about if it weren't for the fact that we know that it's going to get a significant substantial upgrade in the future.
Yeah, hopefully PlayStation will get the upgraded version right off the bat since they've had to wait so long.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. That would be awesome. Anyway, a fairly well-regarded game here in Budget Cuts. One of the more polished games of its kind from the first generation of VR. Again, Steam VR key here, and this one is going to the comments. So if you would like to win a copy of Budget Cuts on Steam VR, leave me a comment down below that says I would like to win a copy of Budget Cuts on Steam VR. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you don't win it today, don't worry, you'll get another shot tomorrow.
That's a very good point, because if you tune into the Monday Show 32 tomorrow with special guest Anthony from VR365, if you watch that episode live, we're going to give away all these Steam VRs, or at least most of them that we've given away today. We're going to give away again tomorrow another one live in the chat. So if you don't win today, or say you're one of the people in the chat today and you're like, damn it, man, I wish they were giving that one away in the chat. Well, guess what? We're going to give that one away in the chat tomorrow.
And and keep in mind too, exactly what Wes just said is key. It's going to be in the chat because it's pre-recorded, so there will be no keys given out afterwards. So
right, yeah, we recorded this episode with Anthony last Tuesday, and we didn't put any segments in it to give keys away. So I think it's 7 keys in total that we have. Actually, it'll be 8. It'll be 8 keys in total that we have to give away tomorrow. All of them going in the chat. So be sure to tune in at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday to watch the very special episode of the Monday Show 32. And the celebration continues, Roots.
yeah, sounds good.
And let's talk about that for a minute, what we're celebrating here and what it means. 1 year, a milestone. A lot of these smaller channels don't make it a year. It takes resolve, right? It takes a lot of resolve to make it through the tough times where you're learning, right? And where things are going wrong left and right. And it would have been so easy to quit, like, 50 times I can think of that we could have very easily just said, you know what, that's enough.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go play VR, okay? And we didn't. We didn't because, well, I mean, I can't speak for Roots. Well, I probably could, but I'm not going to. I want to build a community. So many people are on here, on this platform, trying to build a channel. And don't get me wrong, we want our channel to grow. But more than that, our goal from the beginning was to build a community. So, people might wonder why we don't take some of the shortcuts and other ways that you can go about growing a channel. There are things that you can do to make your numbers grow faster. You can make certain types of videos, or you can take other kinds of shortcuts, and you can use clickbait, or you can pander to certain groups. We never wanted to do any of that because that never was our goal. Again, we like to see our channel grow because we know that means our community is growing. But that isn't necessarily always the case, is it, Rich?
No, yeah, you're right. And that is one of the things that I love the best about everything we're doing is the community. Just everybody that's in the Discord and everybody's always chatting and talking and playing games together, and the live chats, people show up, or the live premieres, and everybody is just like a family, really. And it's what I wanted out of VR. One of the things that I loved, or I guess I wanted in VR that I wanted to love, that I love now. I wanted to play VR with other people, but I didn't have any friends in VR. And so I just never did co-op. I never did anything. And that's one of the best things about this whole thing is I got all these friends now that want to play VR, and it's just awesome. So
yeah. So Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love our community. Each and every one of you guys rock. I spend more time than you know lurking in the Discord. I may not always get a chance to, take place in your conversations. Well, many I do, but even when I'm not talking, I am there. I am, taking it all in, what you guys think, what your guys' interests are. It's awesome. With that said, with regards to the channel, uh, we do expect to be shifting gears. We've been around a year now. We have established our community, so we're going to be trying to grow it, even further. And basically, what that means is we're going to start investing, more of ourselves and trying different things to expand. And first and foremost among those things are something that a few of you all have been asking us about for months, and that is our Patreon. When are we going to open up a Patreon? Well, we always said it wasn't about the money with us, and we weren't really looking to even monetize the thing until we'd been around for at least a year. Hey, Roots, guess what?
We're here.
We've been around for a year now,
Yeah.
right? So hopefully by next week, we'll be able to share with you the details of our Patreon account, what you can do if you would like to contribute to our channel, and what we will be doing for you if you decide to do so. Now, let's make this perfectly clear. We are not doing this because we want to take your money and put it in our pockets. I'm not going to spend your money on toilet paper. I'm not going to spend it on bread,
Sanitizer.
nothing like that. 100% of the proceeds from our Patreon will be put directly back into our channel so that we can grow and expand our community, so that hopefully next year when we reach the 2-year point, you guys not only will have something to be proud of that you helped build, but we will be that much closer to being what we want to be, which is the it's hard to put a description on what we're aiming to be here. We want to be that place where anyone can come who shares our passion for this platform, a place where you can come to get unbiased views and a different take on things than what everyone else is giving you. So, we pride ourselves in having original content. We'd like to bring you more original content. You all know, anybody that's watched us for more than a month knows that we say things and bring about or bring forth ideas on our programming that you don't hear anywhere else until we say it first, right? Anyway, we want to do more of the same. We want to be the VR enthusiasts' place to come for thoughtful, informative discussion, and at the same time be those guys who likes to like all of you, likes to help out the newcomers. We don't want to dumb down our content for the newbies, but by all means, we want them to join our community so that we can help them.
And there's a little bit of something about me that most of you don't know, at least is what Wes just said. I want to have a unique take on what I'm saying, so much so that I almost don't watch any more VR shows because I don't want to taint my opinion with other people's opinions. And so I just end up, if you hear it from me, more likely than not, I just haven't heard it from anybody else because I don't watch most people's shows anymore. And also I've got so much time invested in this that it makes it hard to watch and listen to other people's shows. So
yeah, our sense of what other people are thinking and saying 100% come from our Discord and to some extent Reddit. We're on Reddit somewhat as well.
Yeah.
But most of the time when you hear us on here talking about what other people think and what other people say, it's because we're reading either Discord or Reddit.
Right.
But yeah, I'm in the same boat with Roots. I don't watch that much other content, not because I don't like it or anything like that. I just don't have the time. I'm too invested in building my own community to really consume all that much other stuff. But there are, occasions, channels that I really like. I'll still watch PSVR Without Parole from time to time. I'll watch VR 365 from time to time. I watch Gamertag VR, Paradise Decay. I'll watch those guys. And that's about it. Besides, if there's some hardware out, I'll watch Mixed Reality TV, MRTV, Sebastian, and I will watch VR Oasis. That's pretty much the extent. Besides the guys in the description, that's pretty much the extent of what I watch on YouTube. What about you, Roots? Did I leave anything out that you like to enjoy?
I mean, I've watched all of those at times, but really anymore, I just end up watching. If I'm going to watch anything, it's Anthony's show, and you just can't top Anthony because you just never know what he's going to say, man. He's very genuine, and it's just it's crapshoot, man. He's always gonna entertain, and that's the thing. I really believe that there's not too many people out there that are as much of a natural as he is at what he does. And he spends so much. He's very knowledgeable. He spends so much time. Like you were saying after we did our interview, you literally said, man, it's almost like he thinks about it when he's sleeping, because it doesn't matter what topic you're bringing up. If it's in the VR world, he's going to give you a very well thought out, detailed answer. And that's why I like to watch the show.
Yeah, it might not always be something that you agree with, but you can't say that Anthony doesn't put thoughts into his ideas, because he has it all worked out, and he's 20 pages ahead of you as to where he's going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He believes what he believes, and it's generally fairly detailed and well thought out.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll try to get it back on the rails here. Basically, what we're trying to say is thank you for allowing us to do this for you, for being a part of our community. And if you love the community as much as we do, we're going to be trying to build it going forward together. And for those of you who are new to the channel, maybe this is your first time ever seeing it, welcome to the family. Thank you for showing up. Please subscribe and help us to grow. And for those of you who have been here since the very beginning, thank you so much for your support. It means everything. And stay tuned, because I promise, if you've been with us from the beginning, you're going to like how we end the show today. Something we did just for you. But yeah, Patreon coming hopefully next week, if not certainly by the week after. We're going to have that all worked out, and we're going to have some special access for those of you who to contribute, some insider stuff just for our exclusive Patreon members. Anyway, where are we, Roots? Before we got onto that, I really wasn't expecting to do that, but
that's perfect timing. We're at the MMO.
Ilysia. Everyone knows about Ilysia, Roots. We've been talking about this thing forever. We got a new trailer for it this past week. Team 21 Studio has just released a brand new teaser trailer for Ilysia, an upcoming VR MMORPG that will see a Kickstarter campaign coming up soon. Players will travel alongside one another as they quest and explore a multitude of unique areas. Each area contains bosses, dungeons, caves, and large outdoor cities, all waiting to be explored. Ilysia allows players to explore each area without limits. Players will be able to climb rocks and trees, as well as explore cave systems through free climbing and spelunking. While exploring, players will discover secrets and treasures distinctive to each area. These treasures will include unique armors, weapons, and items that the player can then use or sell. Roots, as is the case usually with these Kickstarter MMORPGs, a lot of big promises, right?
Yeah. Well, the only promise and I said this to somebody in the Discord, the only promise I want to hear in any MMORPG is that they're adding a healing class. So I have a place in the MMO because I don't want to be shooting stuff. I don't want to slice stuff around. I'm a healer. I've been a healer for over a decade in World of Warcraft, and a pretty damn good one. I feel like I just want to heal. I love it. And so far I have not seen one MMORPG in VR that has anything to do with healing. So I'm hoping by this comment that the devs will hear it, and we're in Kickstarter phase. Let's just add a healer class, and then you're going to get roots in there, and you're going to be different than every other MMORPG, and you might have a chance at being really good. So,
well, wouldn't that be a great stretch goal, right? Healer class?
Yeah, dude, I'll do the thing right now. I just think that there's more than just shooting and hitting stuff. It adds a whole different aspect to it, and I don't know. I just love healing. I still think about going back to World of Warcraft because I love healing, and I don't want to play that game anymore, Wes. I don't ever want to play it again.
What do you think about the emphasis that they're placing upon the fact that you can pretty much climb everything in the map?
I think it's pretty cool. As long as there's a reason to climb it, why not? Sure. It looks cool. I know that they got it. It definitely looks very graphically pleasing, and I think it'll be cool. And just to bring the healer class, and then I'll be happy. And cool quests and stuff too. But
yeah, it's interesting that you say that it looks graphically pleasing, because I'm not 100% sure, but I think this one may be another one that's in development for Oculus Quest. I could be wrong about that.
Look at that dragon, dude. That looks cool.
It looks cool, doesn't
it?
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Pre-Kickstarter phase is what it's in right now until April the 12th. So they actually have a pre-Kickstarter campaign up that you can actually start buying into right now. All sorts of tiers if you go to team21studio.com.
Cool.
Actually, I was trying to look up. I know that Team 21 has done games before. One of them that we recognize, but I'm trying to find it and I can't find it, Roots. It's upsetting to me.
Well, it's out there somewhere. It could have been a really good trivia question for the next game, but now that everybody's already looking it up, and
well, good luck looking it up, because I can't find it.
Yeah, and you're trying, you know where to look, and you still can't find it.
Well, their whole website they've devoted to Ilysia, so that should tell you a little something about where their mind's at right now, huh?
Well, you see a lot of MMOs trying to come into VR, and we really don't have very much. So as long as it's even decent, it'll be good. Because Orbis is still weird, and I don't know. I just don't care for Orbis.
Yeah, I never tried Orbis, but it's just like any of the other MMORPGs. They have their guys that play it, and that's what they play. They don't play shit else. They play Orbis. They're Orbis players, and you can insert your MMORPG here. That's the same for them. Those guys play that game. Some guys play, whatever the other one is, and it'll be the same for Ilysia. But this one, it's hard to say. I feel like each one of these has its own, group of people who are hyped for it, but maybe it's all the same people. It could be the Ilysia people are the same as the Zenith people. You know, people are really hyped for Zenith right now. It's the same type of game. And in my opinion, it's just as impressive, but in different ways.
Well, let me tell you why I think one more thing that I would want besides a healing class that would make it actually good. That a game like World of Warcraft or EverQuest or whatever, this is what I used to tell people, and I would still tell them the same thing about World of Warcraft. The game starts at max level. When you start getting your gear, for me anyway, because if I'm not raiding, if I'm not doing high end raids, I mean, I'm talking the high end raids, even on heroic, it's just not worth playing. So just running through dungeons like that and stuff, I just, unless they had high end stuff, that alone wouldn't be for me as well. So I'm just trying to push the boundary to get something like World of Warcraft in VR, but I'm sure we're probably at least 5 years away from that.
It'll just drop one day, like out of nowhere. There'll be no build up for it, and then all of a sudden, everybody that owns World of Warcraft has it in VR. Enjoy.
Yeah, it is in Vorpex. You can play it in Vorpex. All they would have to do is somehow incorporate it to a controller, because I don't know that I would want to hunch over a keyboard with a headset on. I think that's really weird. So,
yeah. Yeah, that is kind of weird. They would have to really adapt it, right? I mean, they couldn't. There would have to be motion controller. Let me ask you. I've never played WoW. Is it possible to get all the functions that you would need into like a touch controller scheme?
Depending on. I mean, I don't know about touch controller. I know that you can. There are mods to where you could set up on like a regular controller, and you've got so many buttons, even with the D-pads, and doing a D-pad one direction and with a B or an A or whatever for each different thing. But even that, it takes a lot of setting up, and especially the healing and the rating that I'm talking about. I don't even know if you could do it on a controller. It'd be a learning curve, but I think it'd be cool to try. I have gone into Vorpex and at least looked around at World of Warcraft in some of the towns and just ran around but didn't really do much, because I didn't want to be hunched over my controller. And when I looked into the keyboard, when I looked into the controller, it was like such a nightmare trying to do it that I was just like, nah, fuck this.
All right, but the world of Ilysia can be both beautiful and dangerous. Luscious scenery and beautiful vistas are inhabited by the creatures and titans that roam the land as protectors of an ancient source of energy and power that comes from crystals found throughout the land. Roots, there's powerful crystals
who doesn't
throughout the land.
Who doesn't love powerful crystals? Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Everybody loves powerful crystals. Yeah. Kickstarter campaign will commence soon. I imagine very soon, because like I said, on their website, they have like a pre-Kickstarter going on until the 12th. So a week left on that thing. So I got to imagine by the end of April, their Kickstarter is going to launch.
Ah, cool. I wonder if, like you said, what their stretch goals will be.
Maybe we'll do another piece on it over time. And we generally like to try to help these guys out whenever they launch into Kickstarter. So maybe we'll do that again.
Yeah, sounds good.
Anyway, this is Ilysia VR MMORPG from Team 21 Studios, the studios that previously brought us Fat Foods. Roots, do you remember Fat Foods?
Sounds somewhat familiar.
It's like a game where you're just constantly rolling.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to roll over all the foods.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was actually one of the ones that we were enjoying when we talked about it. It's this totally different game, right? I don't see any fat people rolling around grabbing food, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
You eat so much food that you can't walk anymore. Now you just have to roll around. And reminds me kind of like what happened when they announced these stay-at-home things, right? Everybody went to the grocery store and just started rolling through the aisles.
You know what's funny about that, Wes, is like I read all these articles and they were saying, it was all about how everybody's eating junk food or whatever while they're on, the whatever vacation is what they make it sound like. but I never heard anybody talking about like eating healthy and vitamins and zinc and vitamin C. And it's almost like, I don't want to even go there, but it just was bizarre to me.
Bizarro world. Topsy-turvy world, brother.
Topsy-turvy world's here for sure.
Anyway, enough about fat foods. Let's talk a little bit more about Ilysia, and actually let's move on from Ilysia. Ilysia, an awesome looking fantasy game. Roots, what say we give away an awesome fantasy game? All right, let's give away the best fantasy game. Let's give away Moss, Roots. If you guys have been in VR for a day, you already know what Moss is. Some people would say Moss is a platformer game. Some people would say Moss is an action game. Some people would say Moss is a puzzler. Roots, how would you describe Moss?
Actually, I'd describe it pretty much as all three of those, although I would submit it's light on the puzzlers, but it is definitely what hits every one of those. And what a beautiful game, right?
Yeah, man. You know, people are all up the ass of Half-Life Alyx lately as being this unprecedented achievement. But, you know, in my book, you're hard pressed to find anything that's on the level of Moss. When it comes to looks and sound, this game is absolutely beautiful. And I think it gets underestimated and overlooked a lot because of the type of game it is. It's cartoony, and it's for all ages, and it's on a smaller scale. But in many ways, that's more impressive, because if you put your face into it and really look closely, the level of detail is just astonishing in this game.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the story is part of where it shines as well. I mean, not only do they do a good job telling the story, but they do a really good job of making you feel for the character, right? And the whole story. And I just felt like it was one of those games that super polished, especially for its time, and very unique. And I enjoyed every minute of it, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best games, period, in VR. If you don't own Moss, you must get it. And if you don't own Moss, you can get it here today by going down below into the comments and saying, I would like to own Moss on Steam VR.
Yeah, and if you're going to get Moss, what better way to get it than to get it for free? I like free, Wes. Free is good.
Yeah, it's a $30 game, man. $30 games for free. That's the shit.
Yeah.
And that's the type of thing we do here on our birthday celebration, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely let us know if you want this game, and you can be mossing it up with the rest of us. You can feel like you're a little mouse. That's one of the things that's so good about this, is the scale as well. I don't know. I just really enjoyed this game pretty much on every level. So
I did too. And then they put that Twilight Garden update into it, which was just gorgeous. And then we had the new headset to check that out in. And it was just, I mean, it blew my mind all over again. I played all the way through the thing a second time just for that, you know, extra hour of content.
yeah, it's definitely worth playing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, if you would like to own a copy of this, just let us know in the comments down below, and you may be a winner. And if you're in the live chat and going, damn it, why can't they just put that in the live chat? Well, you know what? We're going to do that tomorrow on the Monday show. So be sure to tune in then when we give away a copy of Moss for Steam VR live. All right, so storytelling, Roots. The Under Presents is all about storytelling. You know, over the year, I was about to say over the years, but it's been exactly one. Over the year, we've pointed out occasionally from time to time when someone has a truly unique idea and a unique take on a VR experience. Very few times have we ever came against something that was quite as unique as the Under Presents. What do you think about this title?
I really enjoy it. Actually, I need to get back into it, especially since I guess the the live acting is going to be ending sometime soon. But like this is one that Skeleton, I guess, is a live actor. Well, obviously, and I don't know. I've ran into 2 or 3 actors, and each one of them was very unique. And everything about this game is different. Even the spells, like I don't even know half of what you can do, or what I'm supposed to be doing, and I still enjoy it. It's like kind of one of those games where you discover it as you go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's odd, man. It's like it on one level it feels like one of these artsy free experiences that you can come across on Steam and Viveport. And then all of a sudden you turn a corner or you jump in a hole and now you're in a game, like a full-fledged time manipulation puzzle game. And then you jump back out into the lobby and there's freaking live actors roaming around. And I mean, it's just nuts, man. And, when Tenderclaws initially launched the Ender Presents for Oculus Quest back in November, it brought with it this unusual feature, the chance encounters with live actors. The studio had partnered with Piehole, which is a New York-based experimental theater collective, with a plan to provide these live acts for 4 months, finishing at the end of March, Roots. But due to the current pandemic and everyone staying indoors anyway, you're now going to be able to spot these live actors in the Ender Presents until the end of May. Because why? What else are they going to do, Roots?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, is there going to be even more NPCs, right? Because there's...
I think that actually there is. These will still be chance encounters and to encourage you to pop back in, happening between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. Pacific time. It says, the Ender Presents, as it is theatrical in nature, there will also be a scheduled variety shows, which will be revealed via the Tenderclaws website. So they're actually going to be putting on fresh shows live, and you can get the schedule for that on their website.
I kind of like the cat one, where they're like licking themselves and doing all sorts. There's some weird stuff in this game, man. If you want to go into a game and just be like, what in the world is going on? This is a game that is definitely up your alley for that one, because it's bizarre. And I don't know. I've enjoyed my time in it so far. I've probably gone in at least a couple hours. And I haven't figured out the love boat or time boat or whatever. So I need to do that as well.
Yeah, it's the Ender Presents offers both single player narrative and multiplayer social experiences in one, where the hub is set in a surreal looking theater. In this space, players can interact with one another and view live as well as pre-recorded performances. When they find the photo booth, they'll be able to step into a solo campaign called Time Boat, which is what you were just talking about. It's set on the Aikman, a doomed research vessel that is trapped in the Arctic ice. Using time manipulation, players have to save the characters and unravel the mysteries of the ship. Yeah, this is a pretty complex deal. I tried to unravel it myself for a while, and it's time consuming, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially once you get to a certain point and people are roaming around out there in the I don't know, man. I still don't know what the hell is going on. Something weird's happening on that boat, Wes, and time is doing weird stuff. I don't like it. It's very sketch.
Well, I imagine that it's to some extent that the Invisible Hours is kind of like this, isn't it?
Well, yeah. You see, you haven't tried that, right?
I have not.
Oh, dude, yeah. I seen it because I said so coming. That's so good. It's such a good story. It's like up your alley, man. The story and following different characters and figuring out what happened. And I just love that game. I know a lot of people weren't that, just because it's more of you just wandering, following people and rewinding and going back. And it just, I enjoyed it. It's done.
Yeah, it looks cool, and I do own it. I just have not played it yet.
Yeah, well, it's coming soon. I have a feeling.
But honestly, I feel like I might enjoy the time boat more because not only does it have that same, mystery to unravel by manipulating time thing going on, but you can actually influence events as well and communicate to some extent with these people that you're that's on the time boat.
The story in Invisible Hours is so good, though. I think, anyway.
Only time will tell, friend.
Yeah.
Anyway, as for Steam VR support, the Under Presents will be coming to the platform on the 16th of April. So this will add compatibility for both HTC Vive as well as Valve Index. Roots, I'm for it, man. This game needs to be on the available to everyone, and it's getting one step closer to that by coming to Steam VR.
Yeah, it's cool because it was originally Quest only, right? Or at least in the beginning, for a short time, and then it went to Rift, and now it's going to Steam. So that's cool.
That just leaves PlayStation, bro. You think this could ever make its way over there?
Are they friends with Facebook? I don't know. I mean, I think graphically it could easily make it, but I just don't know.
Well, this is coming to us from Tenderclaws, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a Oculus. I mean, if it's coming to Steam, it could go to PlayStation as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Oculus Quest. Yes. Yeah. I definitely can make it to PlayStation if they if they put the time in, for sure.
I mean, I'm graphically there's nothing here that's too demanding. I mean, it works on the Quest, and it's not like a big action thing, so I don't really see anything that they're doing here that wouldn't be able to be done on the PSVR.
Yeah, no. They better get it out there soon. The only thing that I would say that would lean towards not having that happen, and depending on how big they consider the live acting to be, it's only got not 4 months. It's only got, a month and a half left, 6 weeks. And,
well, I mean, unless they extend it again.
Yeah, that's true. You never know, man. If they keep us locked up forever, we might be playing this game forever. So,
yeah. I mean, what else is Pie Hole going to do?
Yeah.
Right? They're in New York.
Yeah, that's true. They're not going anywhere. I mean, you could submit that some people in the country are still moving around, but New York is definitely tightened down.
Yeah, for sure. Tightened down.
Yeah.
Anyway, great storytelling in the Under Presents. Rich, you know what else has awesome storytelling? Freediver Triton Down has tremendous storytelling, and especially Freediver Triton Down Extended Cut. And we have a copy of this to give away, Roots. We have 2 copies of it to give away, actually. We have a copy on Quest. We have a copy on PlayStation VR North America. So this is how this is going to work. I'm going to ask a trivia question to the chat right now. If you have a Quest or a PSVR, feel free to chime in. If you win, you get your choice. You can have it on Quest. You can have it on PlayStation VR. It's completely up to you. The key that gets left over, the one that doesn't get taken today, we're going to give away in the live chat tomorrow during the Monday Show 32. So, this one probably toward the bottom of the list in terms of price, if you were to buy it, but probably toward the top of the list if you're talking about pure quality, right?
Yeah, it's really good. And I enjoyed every minute of it. And yeah, pretty much worth winning for sure.
Yeah, loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
Loving every minute of it. Yeah, we recently, well, I don't know how recent it was. We reviewed this game when it came out originally, and then we also did pretty much another review when it released the extended cut. I mean, it was a Monday Show episode But we went into some pretty good detail, did we
Yeah, I
not?
think that might have been. Was that? I know we gave away before at the. Was it the end of the year one that we did the? Or was that just an? No, it might have just been a regular. They gave us keys to
Yeah,
give away.
we gave away the. I mean, given away a bunch of free divers. Those people at Archaeact are absolutely awesome to us. So they gave us a bunch of the original ones to give away on the 2019 show, and then when they released the extended cut, they sent us a bunch of copies early, and we gave copies away during a special giveaway for the launch.
Hmm.
And it's some of those keys are what we're giving away here today.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's so sad, man. And make sure you claim your keys because, you know, you're getting this key is someone else's key they didn't claim. So
Yeah, that's true. These games have already been won, but we tried to contact those people multiple times, and they didn't claim their games. So screw them.
their loss
They
is
don't
your
deserve
gain,
'em.
right?
That's right. If they watched our show for 5 minutes, they would know they won.
Yeah,
So, but they didn't.
that's all right. I'd rather this person win anyway
Yeah.
because they're here.
Absolutely.
Huh.
Okay, so Freediver Triton down from Archaeact. For anyone who would like to own this either on Oculus Quest or on PlayStation VR, answer me this question. Archaeact, the developer of Freediver Triton Down, has brought to us a number of other VR games, both as a developer and as a publisher. Name one. Anyone.
Wow.
Either as a developer or as a publisher. Name any of those, and you will win a copy of Freediver Triton Down Extended Cut for the platform of your choice. Do so now. Okay, put down your pencils. Time is up. Turn over your paper and pass them forward.
Yeah, and congratulations to whoever just blurted out their answer without raising their hand. We'll still accept it.
Absolutely. Even though I am putting your name on the board. And if you do it again, you'll get a check mark, Buster.
Yeah, you don't want that check mark. You never know what'll happen in this class.
You know what? We won't tell your mom. You know who we will tell, though?
My mom!
That's right. And you don't want her to find out, buddy.
It's not going to be good. Talk about Switch, man. You know, did your mom ever make you go pick out your own Switch when you were a kid?
Oh, God, did we?
Yeah. Who doesn't love it?
And if you brought one back that wouldn't hurt that bad, then and she had to go do it herself, she would get the worst one that she could possibly find and like wear you out with it.
Yeah, see, that's what I think the world needs a little bit more of these days because we turned out okay, and the kids these days suck. So, maybe they don't suck.
You know what? If I told my kids to go get a Switch, you know what they would do?
They'd go get your Nintendo Switch, right?
And they'd go get the Nintendo Switch and say, "Let's play some Mario."
Yeah, well, hopefully you wouldn't beat them with that because that's an expensive whipping with a Nintendo Switch.
Unless it's a Switch Lite.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And there's people out there that are like, you guys are horrible thinking about whipping kids. Well, I'll tell you, spoil the child or spare the rod, you spoil the child. I believe that. You definitely just look around.
So. Yeah. Right. All right, Roots. We are winding down quickly. One more game I just want to touch on just a little bit. Can I touch on it, Roots?
Yeah, you can stroke it if you want, but that doesn't sound right.
Touch on it?
Yeah.
I'm going to touch all over it.
Yeah.
Talking about Crisis Brigade 2. Is it Crisis Brigade or Crisis VRigade or Crisis VR Brigade?
I think it's like Crisis VR Brigade, kind of like Barricade or something, but I know it's going to be VR. Yeah, I always pronounce it VR Brigade, but I could be wrong as well.
Yeah, because it's like you want to call it Crisis Brigade, like with a B, Brigade, Crisis Brigade.
Yeah.
but it's V.
So maybe it's VRigade. I'll tell you what, man, this looks like a different game almost, right? I mean, the other game was cool, but man, this looks even better.
Well, it follows the path that we want sequels to follow, right? When we're talking about indie games, of course, not in every case, but when we're talking about these small indie games that were kind of cult classic hits from the Gen 1, when we get a Gen 2 sequel, we want to see expansion and growth in every area. We want to see better graphics, better sound, better game progression, better levels. Roots, it looks like they're doing it, man, in every category.
Yeah, the only category I don't see here yet, and to be fair, it just got added to the first one, is I don't see a second player. I don't see a way for you and I to play together. And that makes me wonder, do you think they'll add co-op to it, or do you think it'll come out as co-op, or maybe it won't? I don't know.
I don't think it'll release as co-op because I think we're going to get this sooner than everyone thinks. But I do believe that it will be co-op before it's all said and done. I think basically you're going to get, from a concept perspective, I think you're going to get the same kind of game that Crisis Brigade was. It's going to be a Time Crisis inspired cover-based shooter game, situational. But I think it's going to look and sound a lot better. I think that the levels are going to be bigger and more fleshed out. And I think the gameplay modes are going to be identical to the first one.
Do you think it'll be as hard or a little bit easier? Because I know that was one of the biggest things that people complained about, how hard it is to beat the first one. Because it's hard. I mean, it does fucking hard.
You know who never claims about it being too hard?
My mom.
Yeah, that's what I've heard actually. But yeah, that's definitely a different take on that one. I didn't hear that one, but yeah.
Crisis Brigade 2 does not have a release date yet, but the latest teaser trailer has been shared on Twitter by Sumalab co-founder Diego Martin. I like this Diego Martin guy. You know, I follow him on Twitter, and this guy is just right up front about it. You know, he's been trying to get Crisis Brigade published on Quest unsuccessfully. He took it to side quest and gave it away to everybody, and like 50,000 people downloaded it. And then he developed co-op support for it, took it back to Quest, applied again, denied yet again, went back to side quest with it, and added in co-op support to the side quest version, so people who have a Quest can get this game for free and co-op together for free, even though you can't buy this on the Quest store.
Man, that's crazy. How much money do you think Oculus is missing out by doing all this weirdness? You know,
they don't care about money, bro. That's why they spend so much of it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, they just want to build that social platform so they can get that juicy data.
Yeah, well, who doesn't want juicy data these days?
I want some juicy
data.
data.
Me too, actually.
Maybe it's not, this is the quote, Roots, quote time. Maybe it's not Half-Life Alyx. Wow, by the way. But it's VR, has guns, rifles, explosions, and lots of action. Difficult times for developing here, but we hope to deliver soon enough to entertain your isolation.
That sounds like it's coming out soon, right? They've only got 6 weeks until, everything hits the fan.
So yeah, we thought that this was a friggin' year off at least, right?
I did.
And now all of a sudden he's starting to say shit like that. Either he knows something we don't about how long we're going to be in isolation, or this game is getting ready to come out. Roots.
Imminence
is upon us. Yeah. Crisis Brigade 2 is a virtual reality action-filled first-person shooter that lets players take on the role of a SWAT trooper. Duty calls again. Crisis Brigade 2 take up takes up the baton of the first chapter and takes it to the next level. More action, more shootouts, more weapons, more difficulty, more blood, more everything.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like it. More everything, more blood. Who doesn't want more blood?
More difficulty.
Oh, I don't want more difficulty. It was already hard enough, dude.
That's not what she said.
That isn't what she said. But I'll tell you what, man, this game is hard as heck, man. At least in the first one, in some of the areas, there's so many different angles that people are shooting at you. Even when you think you're safe, you're getting nailed by somebody. And that's just not a good feeling unless you're looking for it, right?
Well, let me ask you this, though. When you finally get by that area and go into the next, how does that feel?
Good, until you die in the next one. You got to start the whole thing over. That's the part.
Well, that's why you bring a friend. That's why you got to bring a friend with you, man.
Yeah, I need to bring a friend next time because I want to finish the first one, especially before the second one comes out. And it looks like I'm running out of time, Wes.
There's always time, bro.
Yeah.
You never run out of it.
Yeah.
We have nothing but time.
Yeah, we got nothing but time, and
that's all we actually really have is time.
Well, I'm one of those people that is weird, and I tell people all the time that I submit that time is our only real currency we have. I get paid by the hour. I don't, you know what I mean? I get paid for my time, and it's the one thing that you only have so much of, and that's why it's so valuable. That's why I value my free time.
100% agree. And if you're a person like me who says I don't have time for that and I don't have time for this, it's not that you don't have time. Everyone has the same amount of time. Exactly the same amount of time. Everybody does. It's just that you're choosing to spend it on other things.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
That's what I was telling people in the Discord the other day. I think it was Scion. We about playing. I didn't. You make time for, even if you don't feel like, you make time for the people that are important to you in your life. We just do. It's like we blow one thing off to go do something else. And people say all the time, I don't have time. And then they spend 5 hours watching, TV. And it's like, well, I guess you wanted to watch TV then. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Time is, it's a precious thing, Roots. It's valuable. Give me just a minute here, and I'm going to give you some statistics with regards to time. Let's see here.
Back to the Future, the flux capacitor.
Lifetime. Here we go. So, well, this is not the time that I was looking for. Trying to give you some stats.
These are not the droids you were looking for.
These are not. You're all right. Well, never mind. I was going to try to give you the total hours of content that we have put up in this last year.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a lot of time.
It has. I can give you the number of videos, but I can't quite give you the I can give you the amounts of time watched, but not just the amount of time that
We've
all
spent.
the videos.
Well, even if you added the amount of the videos, you'd have to add, I don't even know how much time, the time we've spent before or after all your editing. It's just full of time.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that whatever time we've spent, on of edited video that we have up, we probably have twice that much time in actual creating the content.
Yeah.
But watch time, almost 14,000 hours of watch time.
Wow. Oh, I actually like that statistic better than what the amount of time we've spent. That means a lot. That's a lot of time that people have spent on us. Yeah. And so I appreciate that.
Almost 71,000 views.
That's crazy. It's pretty good for a year, right? Especially since.
And here's the thing. And this goes back to what we were saying earlier about building a community rather than trying to build a channel. I know that the vast majority of those views didn't come because somebody liked our thumbnail or the title, clicked somebody in real quick and then they clicked out. I know that people are watching our channel because they are genuinely interested in getting a unique view on the topic of the day in VR. And that is our goal. You know, anybody can, I mean, we know how to push through people's buttons. If I wanted to do 2 solid weeks of Half-Life Alyx stuff, I could do that. And people, you know, I could shorten the videos down to less than 10 minutes and get way more views, probably get a whole lot more subscribers. But you know what? None of those subscribers are going to leave comments. And the ones that do certainly aren't going to join the Discord. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we would probably be partners. We would definitely be, you know, making a little bit of ad revenue, but that's not what it's about. It's about creating a community to be that we can engage with and that will engage back. And that was really the thing I was trying to get across earlier, but didn't do a very good job of it.
I got it across to me. Good.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of people strive to keep their videos less than 10 minutes because, you know, people rarely stay engaged for longer than that. You know, over our, what did I say? Almost 14,000 hours of watch time, 71,000 views, 11 minutes, 25 seconds average view duration. So our average view duration from the lifetime of our channel is longer than 10 minutes. It's well over 11 minutes. So that's that just goes to show people are, I mean, for every one that clicks in and clicks out, or for every 10 that click in and click out, there's one that, you know, stays and watches for a fucking hour because that's the type of content we have.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're here to inform people and help the devs out to help people. We want to show people the good games and direct them to it and help the developers get their name out and word out about their game. And at the same time, provide you guys good content and let you know what's out there. So
check this out, dude. Here's our geography list. United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, Australia, France, Spain, the Netherlands, Sweden, Poland, Finland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, Italy, Austria, Russia, Switzerland, Japan, New Zealand, Brazil, Hungary, Ireland, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Thailand roots.
wow. You know what's funny is most of those places, I if I watched a show in any of those countries, I couldn't do it. And it just shows you that these other countries speak English as well as their own native language, which is awesome. I wish we did that. Most, you know, more of us anyway.
Yeah, that would be cool. Anyway,
that's crazy.
It's truly amazing just to think that we've had that kind of a global reach. I mean, what was that? That's like 20 some odd countries there that have watched our channel over the last year.
Yeah, in just a year, so that's good.
Nuts. So again, big thank you to everyone out there who has helped make this a possibility. If you guys didn't engage with us, if you guys didn't watch the videos, then we wouldn't be able to do this. We wouldn't. You allow us to do what we love to do, and we thank you so much for it.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, we promised the hardcores, the guys that have been with us down from day one, a special ending to our show today. And before we do that, just one more thing. We're going to give away one more key, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got one more left. This one is an oldie but a goodie, Roots. We were just talking about Crisis Brigade, how it needed to have multiplayer. Well, you know what absolutely does have multiplayer? Smashbox Arena, which is kind of a shooter game at the same time that it's kind of a dodgeball game. It's a multiplayer good time, dude, and arena based shooter. And Steam VR here. It's not the PlayStation version. This is the Steam VR version, but cool nonetheless.
Duck, dive,
so
dodge, and duck, or is it duck, dive?
You can do all that in any order you want.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if you can dodge a wrench.
Yeah, if you can dodge if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, right?
Yeah.
You can earn badges.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to earn badges?
Anyway, whose turn is it, Roots? Freediver. We gave that one away in the chat, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it's comments.
All right. So if you would like to win a copy of Smashbox Arena, let us know in the comments down below. You will get a number next to your name, and we will draw a number within a few days and let you know if you won. And if you don't want to wait a few days, if you don't want to leave a comment, if you need instant gratification, then tune into the Monday Shoot 32 tomorrow with special guest Anthony from VR365. And while we are doing the live premiere for that, in the chat, we will give away another copy of Smashbox Arena.
Crazy.
That's a pretty damn good deal, right? All this free shit for just showing up, right?
Yeah. And tomorrow, you get a shot at, all the games, or at least most of them. What you're going to...
Loss, Superhot.
Yeah. Budget cuts.
Budget cuts. Gorn.
Yeah. Gorn and...
Freediver.
Space
Pirate Trainer.
Yep.
I mean, shit, man. For free?
Yeah.
Get out of here. All right, well, I guess that's going to wrap up our news segment for the week. But before we go, I thought since it's our birthday, we'd throw it back to the old school roots, throw it back to the days when we used to end every show by just picking a game or two and talking about it. People used to love it when we did that, right?
Hell yeah, dude. I used to love it. What the hell? Why did we get away from that? That was good. I miss it.
I don't know. Some guy suggested that maybe we should go in a different direction, but that's another story for another day. So yeah, I think we're going to have fun here, but it feels a little weird to do just the two of us, right?
Yeah, it feels really weird, actually. Like, just not normal.
So why don't we do something about that?
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Hey!
Hey.
Just,
why'd you guys kick me off the show?
Yeah, just get the fuck out of here.
well, you shouldn't have done that thing you did,
Yeah, nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Before we get started, I have to commend you. Way to go, sitting there through all of that news so quietly. I'm proud of you, buddy. That was awesome.
It was an awesome show. I was so entertained. It was amazing.
Yeah, you know what I'm surprised is
Yeah.
Alex is so quiet up there, but looks like he's busy doing a little yoga. He's all quarantined out and ready to go. And yeah.
Yeah. For the record, Alex was invited as well. We're not excluding him, but prior engagements, he had to go do yoga in a hazmat suit.
Well, who isn't doing yoga in a hazmat suit these days?
That's right.
When the gyms are all
everybody,
closed, it's like yoga is all you can do. Nobody can go to the gym anymore.
You can still do
I
yoga
don't know
though?
what you do. Like at home, people are doing yoga and like doing online yoga and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a buddy I work with that goes to the gym a lot, and since the gyms are closed now, the way he actually dealt with it is the way we suggested. He went and got an Oculus Quest, got a copy of Creed, got some Pistol Whip. So that's how he's staying in shape now, is actually by playing VR.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, how fun. Yeah, he's getting in. And you said it's a Quest, though. He doesn't have a PC computer to play it, or no?
Oh, he's got PSVR, and I got him hooked on that gateway drug about a year ago, and yeah, he's been talking about getting a Quest since it came out in April. But this was the thing that pushed him over the line, and he was lucky to get one. I mean, he literally just walked into Walmart, and there happened to be one left on the shelf.
Wow.
And he got it. He got the last one.
That's crazy.
The last Quest in existence. All right. Anyway, let's talk some games. What kind of host would I be if I didn't allow my guest to go first. So, Justin, what game or games would you like to talk about today?
I decided I wanted to talk about Serious Sam. We're going to talk about Serious Sam 1, 2, and 3. So, you know, I played all the way through Half-Life Alyx, and one thing I have to say about it is that, like, I don't know, it's not quite intense enough. This Serious Sam looks like this is actually like the original Serious Sam, not the VR Serious Sam.
Oh, does it really?
Like this, yeah, this might be the original, like from 2001.
Yeah, it's not a good clip then, is it?
So the Serious Sam, the original, the Serious Sam VR was from 2017. Like they used the 2017 VR engine. So like, yeah, they improved the graphics. That's one thing I want people to know. Is this Serious Sam 3 or Serious Sam 2?
This is 3.
Okay, this is 3. This is Serious Sam 3 BFE VR. This is the one with the best graphics, but it's not the one I would say with the best gameplay. Serious Sam 1 and 2 VR have the most intense, insane gameplay. I thought Serious Sam 3 was like just too easy, and they actually tried to add a story to it, which, you know, in a Serious Sam game, I don't know if you really need a story, because it's just blowing shit up all over the place. There's just enemies flying at you from all over, from every angle. These guys run at you going, ah, and explode in your face. And so 1 and 2 are the ones I recommend the most, because there are times in this game in 1 and 2 where you have 100, probably hundreds of enemies coming at you all at once. And it's still to this day, those games came out in 2017, and they're still to this day the most intense, most insane experiences I've had in VR, for sure. Like Resident Evil 7 is up there, but it's a different type of, that's like an intense, scary type of thing. These are the most intense, frenetic, action-oriented type of games there are. 1 and 2. 3 is 2, but it's just not quite at the same level. And
Yeah. When I think about these games, you know, I've only played the first one, but what you're saying is absolutely what I remember from it. It's been a while, but when I picture this game in my mind, I picture mountains with just legions of enemies running at me at all times. And you're right, it's pretty much nonstop action with this stuff.
and it's 11 or 12 hours. Each game is 11 or 12 hours of gameplay. So it's an amazing deal. You're going to get so much gameplay. Crow Team has these deals where you can buy all of them for sometimes, I don't know, it's like $5 or some crazy shit like that. Like, I don't know, $5 each maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like $5.99 each or something. They might have, they have a package for all of them, but yeah, it's like the best deal that I've done. Now, my thing for this is, it's funny you say that, Justin, about the story, because I've only played number 3, and I assumed they all had a story. And as you're saying they didn't, it makes me wonder if what it would be like a little bit different of just action. Not that the story was that elaborate, and to be honest, a lot of times the cutscenes were weird, the way that you were standing, just because it wasn't made for VR originally, right? I don't think it was. But I agree, this is one of the fastest paced games I've played in VR probably. And it goes to exactly what Wes was saying about Half-Life Alyx. As amazing as that game is, they really did nerf it for the newbies, in a lot of ways. Not that it's a bad game or the nerf was not a good nerf in a sense, but everything that I've been reading in the Discord over the last day or two is people saying, man, I really hope somebody puts some mods and really makes it fucking hard as hell. And that's what I want as well. So it's just crazy.
And people want sprint and jump. Well, you're going to sprint like a motherfucker in this game, and you're going to jump all over the place. You're going to be able to do everything you wanted to do in Half-Life Alyx, but you can't.
Yeah. Didn't you say Anthony got a little bit motion sickness from that? It is real. The speed is so fast paced that if you are susceptible to locomotion at all, and maybe got away with it in some games, you will not get away with it in this one, I don't think.
But you can use teleport in this game. They have a teleport option if you can't handle it.
Well, that's news to me. Something else that was news to me, unless I'm mistaken, if I remember correctly, you can co-op in this. Is that right?
Yeah, there's co-op and there's 16-player multiplayer.
Oh my God. Are you kidding
Wow.
me?
I haven't tried either of those. That would be fun, but yeah, I haven't tried that before.
Yeah, I want to do some co-op. I'd love to, because this game, I mean, as you're saying, number 3 is the easiest. It was fucking hard for me, dude. I mean, I made it really far, but there it gets to points where so much shit's coming at you, and I laugh when I think about those bomber guys, because the first time I heard them running at me, because I had no idea what Serious Sam was at all, and I hear this noise and I'm like, what the fuck? And then it's just to me was so comical, and I don't know, I really enjoy this game.
You're gonna die so many times playing this game. Yeah, what were you gonna say, Wes?
Now I was going to ask you, how does it stack up to some of the other the modded flat games from this genre, like the Dooms, the Wolfensteins, all of those games that kind of got modded into VR? I know some of those are really good. How did these stack up to those?
I think these are better. I think Serious Sam is better than Doom 3, BFG, and better than Wolfenstein 3D VR. But that one only has like one episode, the Wolfenstein 3D VR. But then you can play the original Doom in VR, and I mean the original Doom's awesome. But I think I enjoyed these more than any other FPS game in VR. These are it.
Wow.
Well, this has so many different types of weapons too, right? Rocket launchers, all grenade things, and it's really is controlling you in a sense, as far as just the types of ammo you get, and it can be very strategic of like what type of enemies die to certain types of weapons better. So
yeah, lots of different weapons. And like I said, 1 and 2 were upgraded to the 2017 graphics engine, which makes it look. Don't see, a lot of people I think of it as, because the original came out in 2001, and they think of it as probably just being that original old ass looking game, but it looks way better than that. But then part 3 has even better graphics, which match Serious Sam: The Last Hope, the wave shooter game, which is also really good. It matches that level of graphics. So that's how that works.
yeah.
Yeah, and the whole thing I loved about it, what was really probably my favorite thing about it, was just the nostalgia trip that you get from playing this style of game in VR, because it, even though you're in VR, it still kind of plays like those old games played, where you're quickly gliding over the surface and running through the upgrades and ammo and things. Plays just like you remember them playing, only it's in VR, which, as you mentioned, it can make it a little weird for newbies. You got to have a little bit of a stomach for it, but still, it was a load of fun nonetheless.
One other thing, you can dual wield the whole time. So you can have a grenade launcher here, you can have a rocket launcher here, shotgun here, whatever. You can have any type of gun in each hand, and they're like, a lot of times they're massive. Like a rocket launcher is like as big as you, and you're just wielding this giant fucking rocket launcher or minigun, and it just feels awesome. You feel so powerful and badass.
It looks so cool.
And you're just like,
Yeah, look at that right there. Look how big that gun is.
Yeah, and you could have 2 of those, one in each hand, and it looks even bigger in person in VR.
Yeah. No, I think this is probably hands down the best. Whenever there's a sale, if you don't own these games, especially for new people coming in, because I think it's like $20 or you get all of them, all 4 of those ones you described, and they're just amazing, and each one of them is what you said, 11 hours long. So just for the bang for your buck, and then the action packed. It's one of the things I forget too, when we talk about co-op, what games to play with people. I always forget about this one for some reason. So
Yeah, and it is a great deal. You'll see it anytime Steam has one of those big sales that they have, generally one per season. It's called the Crow Team Bundle, and it's got all 4 of the Serious Sam games in it, as well as what's the name of that puzzle game they bundle with it?
Talos Principle.
Yeah, Talos Principle, and you get all that for like $20, and that's why I bought it. It was just such a great deal. I couldn't not buy it.
Yeah.
I love every Crow Team game. Yeah, they're all awesome.
Yeah. So far, everyone I've played has been good. So, although I've only played, I need to get into. I've got all the whole everything I just said. I've never tried The Last Hope or 1 or 2, and I was blown away when we first sat down and started getting ready to do the show, and you told me 3 was the worst, and I was like, what? Everybody told me that was the best one, like hands down. Every single person is like, you need to play 3, and I value your opinion so much so that they're all lying to me, Justin. Those bastards.
They are.
So,
They are. I doubt they beat all 3, all those people.
well, you're probably right, especially if they're recommending the easiest one. They probably only played that one. And most people are graphic snobs too these days. So,
Yeah, yeah. Graphics aren't everything, and I think that, you know, we all kind of came to that realization when we first got into VR. But people are starting to get away from it. They're starting to forget that it isn't just about the graphics anymore. I mean, it's all about being there. It's about the experience, and it's about the gameplay.
yeah, I think we needed several years of tech demos to remind us that what a real game is, and then you have a AAA come in, and it's like, oh fuck, man, or several AAAs at this point, I would say.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love nice graphics, and man, Half-Life Alyx is just such a beautiful game. But you know, I'm looking forward to playing other games as well that aren't so great, like Hyperwheel Overdrive, for example, a game we've talked about a couple of times recently on the show. That thing looks like a blast. It looks fast paced and chaotic, kind of like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, I can't wait to try that one out for sure.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, Serious Sam 4 is coming out this year, but they haven't confirmed yet whether it has VR support. Probably not,
Oh wow.
because I heard Crow Team wasn't making enough money from VR, unfortunately. But maybe that'll change. Maybe when after Alex has come out, maybe they'll say, "Hey, let's give it VR support." I don't know.
Well, you know, it's different if you put out a brand new game into VR than a game that's old and, you know, remade.
Yeah.
It may do better as well. So,
Well, that's the thing. When you sell your entire VR catalog for $20, after you do that one time, you can forget about anybody ever paying full price for your games ever again, because everybody knows now, right? These games are going to go on sale. I'm going to get them for almost free. So, I mean, they kind of did that to themselves.
yeah. I'm glad I got a good deal on it. So, no.
Yeah, me too.
I would pay full price. I would pay full price for 4. Even though I don't know how good it's going to be, but yeah, based on how much I like these games, how much fun I had, yeah, I'll pay.
Let me
full
ask you
price.
this: do you think there'll be a story to it, or do you think they learned their lesson, or was the story successful?
Yeah, I think there'll be a story, because I kind of feel like at this point they kind of have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like how everything is going. I don't know, unless they go totally retro.
Yeah, it was weird. The story in 3 was kind of weird, but it was enjoyable from what I remember. So
I don't even remember it.
yeah,
Memorable for not being
Yeah.
memorable.
yeah, for sure.
Anyway, Roots, what game did you choose to talk
All
about
right,
on
so
this fine
we were
occasion?
trying to decide games, and I was looking at the list, and I was like, man, I wanted to pick a game that obviously I've not talked about on the show, and then a game that Justin might actually be interested in. Things like, I know that this game he has it, and I think he likes it, but I don't know too much of his thoughts on it. But it's FX2 pinball machine, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because when I actually tried it for the first time, because I'm not a big pinball person, I mean, I played it growing up, I was blown away, and I was blown away by not only how cool the atmospheres and the games were, but just how realistic it felt. And I really did I felt like for the first time in a lot of ways, I could make the argument, and I'm sure Justin would probably say, fuck you. Pinball, like, these games are almost better than real ones, like, because they do things you can't do in real life. You can't have like the DeLoreans driving around the room and doing all this weird shit, right? And each one of them is unique. And this one's Mars. You got this cool, unique environment. So I don't know. I really was blown away by it. And I don't know. What do you think, Justin? Is it as good as a real pinball machine, or does it not equal up? Or what are your thoughts on it?
The physics are different. It's I don't know, kind of floaty. But I think it's really fun. I bought all of the DLC for this game, and played a lot of it. Yeah, I like it a lot. I prefer real pinball, but I mean, who the hell has room for
You
all that,
do.
and like I have 2 machines, and to be honest with you, they're what I play the least of everything. Like I play my arcade games and like VR more than, and the most, and then pinball. Pinball's kind of like only when people come over, because it's just like one game, and you kind of just get, I don't know, eventually I get tired of it, the same old game. Um,
Are you good
so
at it? Because like some people are like phenomenal. Like they'll just sit there for hours and play and rake. I get crazy scores, right?
I have the top scores on my machines, but that doesn't mean much. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not great or anything. There are dudes that can just prevent the ball. They can just knock the ball out of the out lane and just like so that it never drains. And I'm not like that. Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the biggest immersion breakers for me whenever I play a game, not just like this, but doing a lot of different things in VR, is interacting with objects in the game that aren't really there in real life and not feeling the resistance of them actually being there. So have you ever, when you were playing like the Pinball FX2 VR, have you ever gone over to one of your pinball tables and just kind of leaned into it a little bit to get that extra little bit of immersion?
No, you mean so like while I'm playing in this actual game?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Or
I wouldn't.
like
I'd have to move my PC like on the to. So like over here, my VR stuff is on the opposite end, like behind the TV I'm looking at right now. So yeah, I'd have to move everything around. But I thought about that. I did think about doing that.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, because that seems to me like when I play pinball in real life, I'm always leaning on the machine, right? Putting my weight on it. So I feel like that would be probably the one biggest disconnect about playing it in VR, was that I wouldn't be able to do that, or I'd fall on my
Yeah,
face.
but a lot of that though is like, can you say that that is the most comfortable way to play a game, leaning over it? I think being able to sit back in my chair and have my flippers in my hands and be comfortable is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? And I'm right there. And I don't know. I like the fact that I'm not leaning up against it, or that it's different. Cause I always found that pinball machines were kind of awkward or kind of uncomfortable after a while. But that was just my take on it. But Wes, have you ever tried this game yet?
This is one in the backlog, actually, because there are tables on here. I mean, I was kind of into pinball when I was younger, but it wasn't ever like my favorite thing. But there are tables in this that I really want to check out. I want to check out the Back to the Future one. I want to check out the Walking Dead one. Even though the Walking Dead one, isn't that based on the Telltale series video games?
But it's cool because Clem is like walking around and like, I don't know, man, they're kicking the soccer ball back and forth at different points. And that's what's also cool is there's actually shit going on in the actual game. Like characters will come out and stuff, and you can see zombies walking up and down and roaming the streets, and it's just really cool. And one of the things I kick myself for, Main Fan, every single day that cause I'm constantly checking the Steam, I didn't buy all the DLC. It was on sale, everything was half price. I could have got the actual DLC for $12.95, and now that it's $24, I'm like, there is no fucking way. So I'm constantly waiting, and the more I look at those tables, I think they look so cool. But my main focus was like Wes. I had to have Back to the Future. I had to have Walking Dead. I had to have E.T., Jaws. All of those are amazing. The only thing that my gripe with this game is, and I don't understand what's going on, is like, why are we limited? Why have they not brought more tables? Like FX3, I'm sure, I don't know if I was going to ask you if you've played that one, Justin. There is so many awesome, amazing tables, and people play it in Vorpex, and like, I don't know why that game hasn't been released, or some of those tables.
Yeah, FX3 has FX2 here only has like original tables made by the developers, of the game, whereas FX3, they have actually licensed like Williams, actual machines. Wow. I really want to play those in VR. Like these machines back here, you can play those in VR. Wow. And shit, if I could do that, I wouldn't even need these machines. I would just buy a bunch of machines in VR and just do that. And so I've posted on their Steam, community section, demanding VR a bunch of times. like a bunch of other people have too, and I'm just hoping they will. But there are programs out there like Virtual Pinball where you can play all those tables in VR, but it's kind of a big hassle to get it all working. Like even for me, like it was kind of like too much trouble. But I have seen people like on YouTube where they're playing, name the table, and they're playing it in VR with 6 degrees of freedom tracking.
Wow, isn't that? 'Cause I thought that was the thing. Is like a lot of people do Vorpex and it's only three to off, right? But I guess if they can get to 6 to off for sure, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't require Vorpex.
Because that's the thing is like that's one of the coolest things. Again, kind of like with that other game we were just talking about, down the rabbit hole. Like the scale of like getting up close to the table and looking at all that shit up close is so cool. And I was telling that to Driven By back in on the Discord a while back, as he was saying had played it on Vorpex, and I couldn't do it. I want to lean in. As soon as I can't lean in, I'm out. Because that's what part of what's so cool about these tables.
And about what Wes was saying earlier about wanting to have an actual, pinball machine to grab, Jeremy Williams Untested built his own, actual controller that had flippers, and he could move it and it would actually tilt the machine the way he's moving it, because the mechanism he put inside of it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and a plunger and everything.
Wow.
And he got it to work with probably with FX2, and I'm not sure what else. Maybe it's some of that, virtual pinball stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, how are the haptics? Do the controllers really go off in your hands while you're playing this thing?
I can't even remember.
I can't either, to be honest. And I just played it not too long ago, but sure
I'm sure it does. I mean, it makes sense, right?
But it's just so cool, man. I think the Back to the Future one will blow you away, Wes, just because you're as big of a fan of that series as I am, and I just thought it was super cool to watch the DeLorean spinning around the room, and so.
I'm gonna have to push this to the top of the backlog report list. I just put Abduction up there because we've been talking about these puzzle games so much lately. I'm kind of wanting to jump into that.
This is on sale though, Wes. As far as the actual game, it's like $5 or something right now. Because I just looked at it to see if the DLC was on sale. Because I saw the game was, but the DLC was not. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. I hope they bring 3 over, because what Justin's saying there about having all of the old tables archived, captured in pristine, perfect condition for all time. That sounds like a nostalgia trip. That would be just unbelievable.
Yeah. So what happened was Pinball Arcade, they lost the license. If you've ever played Pinball Arcade, they had the license for all of those old tables, and then Zen Pinball bought that license, and then that's what happened.
I see.
Well, it's good. It's good if they can bring it into VR. Now, let me ask you this, Justin. If they do bring this into VR, will you probably be getting rid of those 2 tables back there and then maybe putting something else there?
Yeah, if they're really good, if the physics are good and I like it, yeah. I mean, but okay, so these are good for when people come over. It's kind of like a fun thing for like a little party type of thing, but it's not like we're having any of that shit anytime soon.
And if you are, you better keep it on the down low, or somebody's going to be calling the police.
Yeah.
10 people.
Yeah.
No more.
Our governor mandated stay at home, I think, today. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I'll tell you what. As much as our governor did that, I think it was last Monday. I mean, I'm not going to say that the roads aren't better as far as traffic wise, because I still got to work, and but it sure seems like everybody's still just driving around doing their thing,
Same old.
And I mean, to be honest, as long as everything's not falling apart, I'd like to keep some semblance of normalcy, but obviously being safe at the same time. So
yeah, that gave us a paper at work, just in case the Gestapo pulls me over and asks me where I'm going. It says, "Hey, I'm going to work. We're an essential business. We have government contracts. Leave me the fuck alone."
See, I haven't got that slip yet. That's show me your papers. I'm like, oh, hey.
Right, exactly. All right. Anyway, for my game. I'm actually choosing a game that I spoke about before when we did this segment. Only before when we did it, neither of you had played it much. You played a little bit, but not much. But now both of you have played completely through Here They Lie. And I think that now you kind of understand when I talk about this game not only being super creepy, but being one of the most unique experiences that I've had in a video game. I think you both kind of understand what I'm talking about now. Uh, Justin, you just finished this the other day, right? What did you think about it?
I was very surprised because, I already thought it was pretty weird.
It's weird.
I already thought it was pretty weird the first hour or two, and then I got further into it, and I was just like, "Am I on drugs? What the hell?" I mean, I had been drinking that night, but I didn't think I had that much. It was, I don't know, maybe the weirdest VR game I've played, like surreal weird, like shit going on around you. I'm like, is this really happening? And like, the path you're walking on is all contorting in all sorts of different ways. And I was like, this is going to make so many people sick. And I don't know. I won't say what the ending is, but I don't know. Maybe you'd have to explain it to me sometime.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't know.
symbolism about the nature of man and his destructive tendencies and redemption and whether or not we deserve it, or at least that's how I interpreted it. But like any piece of art, it kind of is open to interpretation. But what you're saying is true. A lot of people actually complain about motion sickness in this game. And I kind of felt it a little bit. This is one of the first VR games I ever played was this. And I kind of got a little queasy with it at times as well, but it was so compelling to me that I played through it anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Roots, what did you think about this game? It's pretty difficult. Walking simulator is something pretty hard to pull off, right? But I feel like they did it.
Yeah, anything that's gonna, like Justin was saying, that's just so bizarre that just draws my eye. And my moment was like and I've said it before, where the person's getting the shit beat out of them, and someone runs over and pulls them off, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And the person leaves, and you're like, oh, good, okay, he saved him. And then that person starts beating the shit out of that person, and I'm like, what is going on? Like it was so crazy. To me, it's like it's how I would imagine, like if society just completely melted down 100%, everybody just went wild, crazy. It's definitely it's one of the weirdest things. And one of the things that bothered me is I never get to catch this chick, man. She's always just out of reach.
I know.
It's just,
She's fun to look at.
It's just not fair, man. Maybe they did that on purpose to keep me from groping her, but I promise I'll be good. So.
Did either of you ever stop and just stare at any of these pictures for very long? Because they morph, like literally. If you stop and just look at the pictures, they start morphing in front of your eyes and changing to other things, and it really is surreal, kind of like you're on drugs or something, because it's very subtle, the changes. But if you watch it for a while, it kind of changes into something else.
Yeah, this is such a good game though. So bizarre, so weird, and definitely very. The graphics are really good. I mean, it's a. This is a PlayStation Pro here, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it's a shame that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But once I saw the red light district, that's where I was hooked. I was like, all right, I got to keep going, because that's where it started getting really crazy.
Yeah.
And, when you go down into the basement of that private club.
Yeah.
I mean that was wild, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
I don't want to give away too much of it. I don't want to get banned off of YouTube either for talking too graphically about it. But this is a must own, in my opinion. If you've got the stomach for stuff like this, this is a horror title at its roots, and it's not only creepy, but it's vulgar. There's drug use, but again, I mean, even like the sexual stuff and the drugs, it's all implied. There isn't anything that's like, blatantly graphic. It's all implied, which is one of the funny things I thought, because I could just see them developing this game for like PC, and then when they get the contract with Sony, seeing them kind of just slightly tweak everything so that it doesn't really show anything, but at the same time, what's going on. And we all as adults know what's going on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure. I think. Oh,
Let me ask you this. It's a shame that the team that made this game, they're technically not together anymore. I mean, the company still exists, but the guys that worked on this game are off doing other things now. Um, have either of you played a game called Spec Ops: The Line?
mm-mm.
I've heard of it. Is that the one that has like nice sand physics?
I don't know a lot about it. What I do know about it is the guy that created this game and the concept of this game is actually more well known for that game. That game was a game he was the lead designer on, and it's a war game, but apparently it's like super gory and graphic war game. And even though it's flat, I was thinking about maybe looking into seeing if there's Vortex support or some way that I could play it in VR.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Just based on the how much I love this game. So if I can't have another one of these, I'd like to at least see what else the guy's doing.
You can play it flat.
Yeah, I've heard people mention that game even recently. Sorry, Rich.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's got like a cult following, from what I understand. A lot of people really, really enjoyed it. Hopefully, this game will develop a cult following, and maybe Sony will get the band back together one day. But I understand it's probably just wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah, maybe someone else will join the team, or they'll I mean, sometimes you can have one of the people and somebody else join, or you can somehow get a better version. Just tweaking it. So who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean that works in a lot of situations, but when going through something like this, I think it takes a very special kind of fucked in the head to come up with shit like this. And I don't think they'd just be able to pull anybody off of the out of the classifieds and have them come in and do this. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe there'll be
Hopefully I'm
somebody
wrong.
worse, somebody that's got even more twisted, and you'll be thinking, "Man, this is tame." Yeah, hit
I can tell them what to do if they can do it.
hit Weasel up, Evil Weasel, and he'll tell you what to do.
All right. Anyways, I think that's going to wrap up the games segment for the first game segment in probably 6 months or better. But I had fun. What about you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good.
Hell
Good
yeah.
to see Justin sitting there. I love to see all your games there. Feel jealous.
And you guys who, if you want to keep up with Justin and what he's doing, I'm sure you all already know. The link's in the description down there. Check out his channel, Main Fan. He plays mostly arcade games on there. He takes requests, but every now and then you put some VR stuff on there as well, right?
Yeah, like Half-Life Alex, I did a live stream in 2 days on that. Yeah, so and I'm still working on a highlight video of that, but that's like just too much footage to go through.
Yeah, that's the only drawback of
it's
doing a
great.
live stream that long is like it's easy to get it out there, but then if you want to cut it up,
Yeah.
it's a pain in the ass. How was that though? You said that was your first time doing a live stream, right? It went pretty good.
First time doing a live stream. Yeah, the only issue was I didn't realize, I don't know, when you record gameplay, do you guys do your audio in 2 separate streams, like checkbox 1, checkbox 2, and then later you can adjust audio independently, the
Well,
volume?
that's what we were just doing with your guys'
Yeah.
sources and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I found when I live streamed, I had to put all the audio into one, or else the other people couldn't hear, like, one of the things, like they couldn't hear the game audio. And I learned that during the live stream.
Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare.
just-
Live streaming, there's so many things that can go wrong, right?
Yeah. But that
It's
was
so
the only issue.
daunting.
Yeah.
It's so daunting. We've been talking about taking the Monday show live because I'm off work on Mondays now, and people like it. People like to be able to chat with you while you're doing the show. But man, just the thought of all the shit that can and undoubtedly will go wrong when we try to do that, it's frightening.
Yeah. It's gonna happen sometime soon.
I was surprised that the stream actually worked. Like my first stream was like, over 9 hours, and I thought for sure it would end up, just something would go wrong, but no, it just kept going. So
That's cool.
at least there's
Yeah.
that.
That's cool. Well, it's good. That was a good experience because, you know, I don't know. I like streaming sometimes, so I need to get into that as well.
Yeah, I've yet to do live. Watch, I'll probably freeze up when it happens. You know, I got a big mouth in front of this camera when I know nobody's watching, but we get on there live, I'll probably freeze up like a deer in headlights or something.
Well, it's funny. Even sometimes I've just taken the host role back in the day. I remember I froze up, and you know, it's like you, even though it's the same shit you've been doing every week, it's just being in that spot. So you're nailing your spot as the host of this. I think you'll nail that too. So.
Yeah, thanks for the vote of confidence. Anyway, friends, that's going to wrap up the episode for today. If you're new to the channel and you haven't already, please subscribe and click the notification bell to stay up with all of our content here on the Virtual Strangers channel. And if you would like to join the conversation, just look down into the description below and you will see an invitation to our Discord. Roots is there. Justin's there. We're all there. Even if we may be talking about some off the wall shit sometimes, we're all there. So check that out as well. Justin, appreciate you making the time for us, buddy.
Yeah. And
Thanks for having me on. It's
yeah,
fun.
and Alex, we appreciate your yoga. You've been doing a good pose there the whole time. Well, now I will say, you know, we're assuming that's Alex in there. I don't know for sure, but I think it is. But.
Well, I can see the resemblance.
This looks like his hands.
That. Anyway, with that said, friends, we'd like to thank you once again for watching. And for Roots and Justin, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow, friends.
Take it
Bye-bye.
easy.